Shares. It's time for some Onward. It's the VR League Season 3 Finals. We have two mighty North American giants ready to duke it out on our stage, and we're already going to swing into map 1. You'll have Globochem on the defense, the orange side of your map, and G-Men, the underdogs, taking it in on the attack on the blue Marsoc side.
And already we see some action coming out with Sudi taking some fire, doing out some damage as smoke's already out across the map. This is exactly why earlier while I was hot mic'd said that I'm so glad it's going to be Cargo starting off this series, because this map, it's so explosive right from the get-go.
Yeah, you are absolutely right, Potter. We were in for some immediate explosive gameplay from both of these teams. We got two North American teams here, so we're expecting a lot of aggression. However, both of these teams very intellectual players as well, so we're going to see a lot of team strategy, coordination, and communication here as we go throughout the series.
Yeah, we see G-Men here pretty split up at the moment, but we've got two players in that far southwest side, and I believe one of these players is going to be having the shield, so it's going to be really up to them to open up this round, utilize that shield, and get a quick, easy, hopefully clean kill for themselves.
Yeah, I believe that will probably be the Man and Swooty who are over there in the tunnel. They were the two working together yesterday, so I would assume they would keep things fairly structured for the sake of consistency. Here comes a frag in onto Toast, or onto Pants position, but it was unable to connect. Pants still safe. We'll hop over to Toast, who's trying to get some peeks as well. Now we're on to Zach Fontaine and the Man who are doing that shield team, and they're looking for their peeks as well, but they got to be careful. The defense does have some easy sight lines onto this spot, and they could be risking a whole lot more than they asked for. Ooh, quick peek there from the defender, but no visual. Zach locks into the spot, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think the defender's going to have the element of surprise here. He can toss a flashbang out and really just kind of put a stop to that shield push.
Absolutely, and you see the Man that right there just backing away slowly. They know that the Globochem members know that they're there, so they're afraid of those nades, so I think they're just preemptively taking a step back, making sure that they dodge the grenades if they come their way. And at the moment, we see Zach Fontaine again creeping up. I really like the patience coming out of the G-Men side here. They're really looking for the easy frag for themselves, and why not, right? I mean, you got to use that shield to the best of your ability, and I think they're doing just that.
Yeah, and something else I wanted to touch on, as we saw while you were describing that, was Raphael from Globochem, the guy who's watching that shield duo. He actually had a C4 clicker in his hand in order to blow the C4 that he set for this push. Will he get to use it? We won't know. Maybe a grenade will actually take it out. But unfortunately, one member of G-Men does go down by the hand of Toast, getting an excellent kill there out in the center of the map.
Absolutely, and Globochem already up in advantage here by one man. It is a 5 versus 4 scenario here, and G-Men have really narrowed down this clock. It's ticked down all the way to 2.5 minutes, but this is totally G-Men's style. I mean, yesterday we did see a lot of slow, calculated plays from them, and Brass 2 Mouth quickly takes down and finishes Arsenic, evening up 4v4.
Yeah, that's your key player taken out right there, Potter. But it doesn't matter, because as we talked about, Globochem is a team full of monsters. Raphael throwing a nice grenade and getting two, actually, downing Zach Fontaine and killing Brass to Mouth. But Zach Fontaine will go ahead and be finished off. That'll be 4 members for G-Men down, and Globochem are on a tear here. As they go 4v1 against the last one, it looks like Raphael's going to get a little aggressive.
Aggressive indeed. I mean, they have such a man advantage at the moment. It's really going to be up to G-Men's last standing member here to kind of boost some confidence in themselves. Go ahead and get some kills, some clean shots for yourself, and hopefully Sudi does just that.
Yeah, Swooty is definitely one guy, as you can see in his interviews, always very calm and cool. He's never one to get razzled. But you can see here, that's the guy you kind of want in this situation, right? Someone who can keep their wits about them when they're in a tough 1vx scenario and a 1v4 in Onward with such a low TTK. Just the slightest mistake, and that's the first round to Globochem. But he's also running out of time. 1 minute and 30 left. He doesn't have a lot of time to work with. He's fortunate that he's on Cargo, where transitions between lanes only take about a few seconds, so you're not burning too much of that valuable time.
For sure, but that time is definitely going to come to bite him, because if he starts winning just a couple of duels, it does become somewhat possible. But you're absolutely right. This is definitely his biggest enemy is that time right now.
Yeah, and Globochem, of course, not really too worried about it. They could get aggressive and sacrifice some folks, and Toast will get aggressive to find Swooty as he makes a quick push, and that'll be it. Globochem will take round number 1 here on the map.
And quite the convincing round as well coming out of Globochem. I was hoping for a little bit more from G-Men. They had that shield. They had the right idea. They were slowly creeping up. it just kind of snowballed out of control for them. I mean, we saw Zach Fontaine with a double kill himself before any answers were given. Those kinds of things, it can't happen. You know, you can't allow those players to get 2 easy kills like that and not answer.
Yeah, you really have to make sure that you're responding to every player that's shot, and that's what I was talking about a little bit yesterday in our semifinals, Potter, with Globochem. They will give up their own position in order to give intel to their teammate on where the enemy that's giving them problems is, so that that other person can find a different angle to find the defender, take him down, and then he's free to move again at his own will. So they do a great job of that. We didn't have to see too much of that because they were on defense. However, we will probably see more of that now that they're going to the attack. For those of you at home, in order to win each map, the teams will have to get to a total of 3 points, so it's a best-of-5 situation in the points. And we'll be in a best-of-5 here in the overall series. So whoever takes the first 3 maps, if Globochem take it handily in the first 3, it's all said and done. But if we go, like we did in our Space Junkies final, all the way to the decider, folks, we got a lot of great Onward action for you if that's the case.
We sure do, and hopefully that's the case. I mean, we've seen some great games thus far, and they've actually, all of them have gone the extra mile almost.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, from the upset of G-Men against Beginners yesterday to the narrow defeat of Boss Fight by the hand of Globochem, every match that we saw was just to the very last point, to the last second in some cases. I mean, every round, I think, was left out there on the field. Every shell casing was spent.
Definitely some crazy uplink plays yesterday. Hopefully we see some more of those. I mean, but we're going to jump right back into this. Again, Globochem up 1-0, and now they're on the attacking, and G-Men will have to defend.
You got that right, Potter, and Raphael's already got his shield out. There's no surprise there. Brass to mouth on the defense, setting a bit of defensive C4, while Otto fires up lane 3 to try and keep the defense from getting all the way to the east, but it has failed. They have managed to get one over there. However, they'll still be keying into that spot. I almost guarantee you, checking it with some pre-fire even to make sure that if a defender's there, they are taken out.
Definitely, just setting out some pre-fire, letting those enemies know, hey, I'm watching this.
Yeah, no, you really have to be careful on a map like Cargo because there's little nooks and crannies everywhere that a player could be around at any given moment in time, especially once you break that halfway point. And as you can see, G-Men have actually sent one man a little aggressive to that halfway point, hoping to cut them off a little early, throw them off their rhythm, and then, you know, kind of capitalize from there. But we'll have to see if it works. Globochem tend to be ready for just about anything, and I'm sure after being able to watch G-Men on yesterday's semifinal, they should be pretty good and prepped.
Definitely. Now let's see how Globochem utilized this shield. We just saw it on Raphael there, and I expect them to have somewhat of the same approach. Just utilize that shield at one point of the map, potentially still again near that red half, and see if they can allow themselves a kill here. But they're running out of time, and those 2 players are falling all the way back south side. Yeah,
they're wrapping around to the
definitely need to
tunnel.
move forward a little bit more here.
Yeah, I think they were using running back to get to the tunnel because the tunnel entrance is at the very southwest corner of that map. So they have to go basically all the way back to the start to get into that tunnel, which will put them out at about the halfway mark, which we're seeing now. That'll be Raphael and more than likely Arsenic, one of the other taller players, as we talked about us being a great team for this. But a bit of a firefight. The man's going to be popping rounds off towards Globochem. But here comes the push, and the pre-fire from Toast does find the man. We have our first kill of the round. Approximately 2 minutes in here, about 3 minutes, 10 seconds left. A check nade comes out towards the tunnel. They've spotted the shield duo, and now they're going to be taking a lot of suppressive fire. So we're going to see the communication come out from Raphael here. He's going to be trying to call his teammates to get into a position to where they can counter against that defensive oppression.
Really nice movement coming out of Globochem there, understanding that, hey, this guy is just shooting. He needs to reload at a certain point and pushing the issue and punishing him for being in such a forward position. And now you're absolutely right. They have the man advantage. They're on the attack with 2.5 minutes left to go. I mean, Globochem have a real shot at winning this round.
Yeah, Zach Fontaine communicating with his team that he doesn't want to stay out in the open because he expects that Globochem to start throwing grenades, and he's right. This is where we'll typically see Globochem. They're now all in that center line position. We got one kind of catching up in the east. We see our first grenade go out. We'll probably soon see more, if not a lot of smokes, as Globochem are going to start to blitzkrieg onto the objective. We've got 2 minutes left, which is plenty of time for this map and a great time for them to attack now where something goes wrong. They have the adaptability to correct and try and go in for that uplink and get those 2 points and seal map number 1. But G-Men slowly ticking away towards their own victory if they can just keep themselves hidden, but yet protect that satellite dish.
And as you mentioned that grenade, we saw that grenade come right out. So definitely that player's spidey senses tingling and paying off that that he listened to his own game sense there. But wow, Otto and another Globochem member across from him, they have a really solid crossfire. This is going to be pretty challenging.
Yeah, Otto watching that angle concerned me a little bit. I felt like a team kill was coming because his teammate had just pushed to that doorway, and I felt like he misidentified that. Sounds like they cleared that up, but we'll have to see. 404 waiting by those barrels, and Zach Fontaine will pick up another. Remember, things are evened out now. It's 4v4. Globochem, no advantage, but a trade from Pants and Swooty. Swooty will get headshot. 404 will grab Otto, and Toast will grab the trade onto 404. Things have fallen apart completely, but Globochem's going to go in for the instant revives. They waste absolutely no time if they can avoid it. Arsenic will pick up Pants, but Brass will find Otto. Wow. And Pants. Now Arsenic comes around the corner. It's a 1v2 scenario. G-Men are on the ropes here as two members of Globochem go in. This could be a cap. It's all up to Zach Fontaine, and there's a trade. Globochem take round number 2, and we're 2-0 in map number 1.
Wow, so unfortunate for Brass to mouth there. I like the idea. I like the aggression. He took an opportunity to go for those frags, but a little bit ill-advised in hindsight because he ended up getting retraded right off the bat, and that really put G-Men at a disadvantage when initially they had the advantage.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, they did. But the one thing about going for those quick revives, as we talked about there when they came out, is that sometimes you have to be leery, right? You can't necessarily go for them right away because it could be a trap. There could be a defender who's rushed up and then waiting for the revives. However, I feel that the down players would communicate that. But yeah, managing your revives is very important in this game, especially when you're in situations like this and things are on the line.
Yeah, I mean, it all came down to Brass 2 Mouth's timing, right? He didn't time it correctly. He knew that the two members were down, and if he went out immediately, he probably would have had a better chance at finishing off those frags. But that split-second decision-making where he didn't go out immediately definitely came to bite him.
Yeah, and you really can't fault him, right? Because when you're in that scenario, especially in VR where you're just completely immersed in this world, right? Everything you hear, everything you see is a completely different place. You're not seeing, you know, the studio and the audience around you in your peripherals. All you're seeing is cargo, and all you're seeing is bullets flying at you. There's nothing else. So you're completely lost, and that decision-making becomes a lot tougher when you're put in those situations.
Definitely. Now we're going to go head right back into this, and again, we've swapped sides, and G-Men are now on the attack, and Globochem, they will be defending. And again, Globochem are already up 2-0 thus far.
Yeah, it's make or break on this map already, Potter. We did see Swooty putting some suppression fire up one of those long lanes like we talked about. Lanes 1 and 3 are typically a bit longer. You need to keep those under control to keep defense from being able to get into position. But the LMG is a great way to do that. And with swappable magazines between like I think it's the SA-80 and the Mark 16, you can actually give your teammates a drum mag for their assault rifles so that they can not have to worry about getting into a firefight and having to reload mid-firefight, which could ultimately cause them to be fragged.
Definitely, and G-Men moving up close to that center point a little bit faster this time around, and it pays off for them. The man, Zach Fontaine and Swooty, each getting a kill apiece. 3 men from the Globochem are already down, but 1 is still resable at the moment.
Yeah, they've got to react faster than that. Globochem, like I said, they do not waste time getting their pickups, and they've already gotten 1. They're going for the second one if they can get to him. The man's going to find Toast, Swooty's going to find Pants, and Globochem are down to just 1 member, and there he is. There's the kill from Swooty. He's on a tear right now, and G-Men stay alive here on map 1 as we go 2-1.
They definitely do, and I like the aggression coming out of G-Men right off the bat. As soon as they got that knock and that kill, they understood that chaos was about to happen, but more often than not, they're going to come out on top with the pure just numbers game. So they overwhelmed Globochem, and it definitely paid off.
You got that right. It paid off, and the best time for them to do it, because had they failed at that, that would have been map 1 to Globochem, and that would have been already a disadvantage to them going forward in the series. So, I mean, excellent work from them, execution on that. I did say that they probably should have pushed a little faster after that first, you know, kind of triple kill, but it ended up working out for them in the end because all the transition, all the craziness and the rotation from the defense allowed them to catch them out in the open, which they probably wouldn't have done if they had rushed in.
It definitely did, and that was one of the more convincing attack rounds that we've seen so far, and I think that really bodes well for G-Men specifically because they're down by such a margin at the moment. So this should kind of reinforce their approach and their ideas that they set forth for today. It's like, okay, we got this, guys. We were right. Yeah, last night what we talked about, you're right. It did work. So yeah, this definitely allows G-Men to have some confidence building up for themselves.
Well, confidence they will need. It is 2-1 here as we go into round number 4. This could be the G-Men's last chance to hold themselves here in map 1. Will they be able to hold the fort and keep the mighty Globochem from getting in, getting the kills, or getting that coveted uplink?
We've got just a lot of pre-firing going on and some pre-smokes at the moment, and it's just kind of keeping each other at bay, like making each other respect the almost invisible line of scrimmage. But we already see Brass to Mouth and
Oh
404
my.
working very quickly and taking out 2 members of Globochem, and 1 is already down.
Yeah, exactly. 3 members are basically incapacitated. 2 dead completely. The other will still be able to provide callouts to his team. G-Men have only lost 1 here. And it's less than a minute in. Globochem already on the back foot here. Arsenic will be able to pick up auto though, and then go down again as the game keeps going.
Yeah, and it looks like we've had. Okay, they're still in the server. We're fine. It's a 2 versus 4 scenario right now, and quickly, just like that, Globochem are at a disadvantage here. G-Men have all the advantages. They're 2 men up, and they're gonna slowly just wait it out because Globochem have to go to them.
Yeah, they do. They need to be smart here. If they can manage to allow Marsoc to walk by Swooty, who's now kind of gotten on their flank, if he just stays quiet and allows them to walk by him, he can... Kobe! Swooty will find auto on that flank.
It was a Kobe.
And Arsenic's nade, my God, that was a long range one. He does get it, but G-Men gonna find that second frag, and they'll tie it up.
They do tie that up. I mean, I think Arsenic was kind of scrambling to pick up another grenade there when he got taken down, but definitely kudos to him. That was quite the throw, and man, G-Men, they're making a comeback here.
They are a force to reckon with, Potter. The thing we saw yesterday with beginners, I don't think that was any fluke.
Yeah,
that
no,
seems to me
not.
like cold, calculated damage because they are bringing it here against Globochem here today.
They definitely are, and man, the man himself once again with some huge plays, but a lot of those kills just happen so quickly.
Yeah, there is no time to waste at all. We got a nice little triple there at the start between Zach Fontaine, I believe, and Brass to Mouth, really opening the door up for their team, allowing them to push up even further without risk, allowing them to stage for the final attack. And that they did. Swooty pushed up even with the attackers on their flank, but not visible, not giving himself away, so that when Otto came out into the open, he was able to take him and shoot him there. Then the other kill came in. We did get a long-range grenade from Arsenic. Unfortunately, we didn't capture it. However, those nades on this map are very, very crucial. And previously, Globochem very, very exact when it comes to placing those nades around the map into key locations.
Definitely, and I mean, we talk about the pressure and we talk about these players coming and working so hard to make it to this point. Now they're in the grand finals. I mean, that sort of pressure definitely starts to build, but I've got to say, Zach Fontaine has impressed. I mean, this man, from game 1 to now, he is the player from the G-Men side that's consistently getting those frags. I think double kills, even triple kills at certain points. Zach Fontaine is performing.
Yeah, Zach Fontaine is performing well, as is Swooty. I mean, Swiggity Swooty's after that booty today. He is going for those frags left and right, and he is getting them. He and Zach are just a force de terror right now for Globochem. I mean, you couldn't be more happy if you're on the G-Men roster watching at home or here as a guest in the studio. I mean, realistically, you could not be more proud of these guys right here. They are playing at a level I've never seen G-Men play. I always knew they were possible, they were able to do this, but they've never been able to execute on a level like this at a LAN event like this under such pressure as this. I mean, today, Potter, top prize takes 30 grand for their team, with second still taking home 15.
That's a lot of money. Let's think forward here for the last round now. It's tied up 2-2 on Cargo. G-Men, Globochem, who's defending and who's attacking? I forget, actually.
G-Men just defended, so they'll be on the attack. They're going to have to prove their worth here.
Oof.
It's a limits test.
This is certainly going to be tough, but you know what? G-Men has had the most convincing attacking win thus far, right?
That's
I mean,
a good point.
One of the rounds that they had, it was by a huge margin. I think they had 4 members still standing at the end of that.
Yep.
And we rarely see that on the attacking side. So that definitely bodes well for G-Men, and hopefully they can replicate something like that again.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if Globochem will adopt that aggressive defensive style that G-Men had, which allowed them to get those first 3. But we'll see a little bit of hesitation. A badly placed smoke, unfortunately, on a rooftop will not allow them the key angles that they need. And G-Men will start their push up. They're going at a decent clip, but not going too fast. As we said, this map is liable to anyone being in any old corner at any given time.
Definitely, and we see this time around G-Men with the shield going straight up to that hallway right off the bat, and they're going to see what shenanigans they can get themselves into. Even Brass to Mouth following up, so this time around they're sending 3 men all the way on that west side.
I mean, if you're Globochem, you have to be ready for that shield push through the tunnel, right? They've done it almost every time they've had a south spawn, so there's no real thought to say that they wouldn't do it again. I mean, it is a safe bet.
And I mean, Globochem even do it themselves, right? So it's certainly a strategy that both teams are very familiar with.
Yeah, and it's safe because with the shield you can block most of the doorway, keep anybody from getting shot. If your guy behind you, if your teammate behind you is quick with his squatting, you should be all fine. But a nasty grenade or a well-placed C4 earlier in the round could take you both out. And then what are you going to do? You'll have your shield player out and gone, and that's a key point here on Cargo. You can use it as the prong of your push to protect the other advancing players as you maybe try and go in for an uplink.
Definitely, and at this point here, G-Men just really kind of slowing things down, making sure that they keep Globochem honest. They don't want Globochem to have pushed through and past the line of scrimmage and be on their side anywhere, so they're just being really thorough, making sure that they dot their I's and cross their T's.
That's it. Very, very thorough. They do not want to give up this round, if at all possible. They're doing well. I think that was a C4 explosion we just saw on top of the tunnel. It's not effective. It's like I feel like I'm playing Pokemon. It wasn't very effective.
And we see that uplink position up there by the west yellow in that far north position of the map, and all the Globochem members are really turtled up near it. So when the action happens, which I expect to happen more towards the minute-and-a-half mark or so, it's going to be fast trades and fast action.
Yeah, I think before that happens, so Kobe!
Zach Fontaine just kind of looked at it and just accepted his death there, his fate. I mean, and he really didn't have much choice else either. What a toss.
Yeah, I mean, that's another point we should cover.
He gets revived, though.
Good on the G-Men for a quick res
Yeah.
opportunity. I think that was the shield duo, so that was easy for them. They were right next to each other. But another thing we should talk about is grenades can be cooked in this game. Just like in other FPS games, you can cook grenades. So G-Men Globochem very good about cooking their grenades. Brass the Mouth with a grenade of his own finds Arsenic, but Raphael will be right there next to him to pick him up. Arsenic will die, so will Raphael. I'm sorry. Yes, both of them will go down. They pick up one apiece. It's down to a 2v3. Globochem is currently wasting away as G-Men pushed their way in. Zach Fontaine and Pants go down. It's only one member of Globochem left. Could we be seeing an uplink to really just rub the salt in?
Oh my goodness, all three of these players have just almost TK'd each other, and now this gives a huge opportunity for Toast. He's just taken down the man himself. It's now become a 1-versus-1 scenario. Oh my goodness. Okay, so Toast has an idea of where this G-Men member is.
And there he is!
And he turns the corner, 404 from G-Men, saving Globochem. But really, Globochem, wow, the chaos. They TK'd each other and almost TK'd a third member. And that sort of chaos, that sort of confusion allowed this, oh my gosh, that turnaround.
That was amazing. I completely thought that once 404 started running away from the objective and being very loud that Toast would pick up on that and he was going to clutch that for Globochem. But man, was I wrong. He was not ready for 404 sitting in that corner, and he just wasted away. And G-Men will take our very first map in the first upset of the day. I mean, my goodness, this was their pick, to be fair. But yeah, this could have Globochem, who's very hard to tilt usually, tilting very hard.
Yeah, that might be a huge tilt factor right there, potentially. I mean, because Globochem had all the advantages. Really, it came down to a 3-versus-1 for Globochem, and that was the result.
Yeah, so GG's to both teams there. We've got some replays here for you. A few kills, a few key kills on the maps. Some nice reload skills, and of course those ever-important revives. You got to make sure you get those teammates up, but here it proves very dangerous for Globochem as Brass the Mouth finds one and then two, but then, of course, gets refragged himself. I mean, things were going crazy there.
Crazy indeed. And again, Zach Fontaine and Swooty, as you mentioned earlier, coming through strong in this third round. And Swooty with that third kill once more. I mean, these guys really, really helped G-Men cross that line.
Yeah, and then we finally got to see our Kobe's, right? We got to see our great grenade plays. Some we got to catch on camera. Others we missed, but that's fine. We knew what happened. And there's that kill. You said Zach Fontaine and the man just kind of looking and accepting their fate, but they were able to get that res.
Hopefully we see that replay of all the chaotic action going down right here. This is it. This is that point where it happens, where they all get a little confused and almost TK.
Yeah, you're right. And, I mean, the shield play here was excellent as well. G-Men really doing it. And we're going to be coming back to you very shortly here. We'll be taking a small break. We do hope that you stay with us here at the VR League Finals.
All my life been looking for true love, a real one. You, all I want to do is be there for you. Be there for you.
You've always been a gambler, ready to make a wager.
Break through the door.
Or roll the dice. You've always known when to stand and when to hit, when to raise and when to bluff.
Your will is strong, but I will break you soon enough.
You know when you have a good hand and you're not afraid to go all in.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for sticking with us through the break. This is the VR League brought to you by Oculus and ESL, and we are here at the Season 3 Grand Finals for Onward. If you don't know, Onward is a VR milsim game, 5v5 squad tactical gameplay, and we're here with Globochem versus G-Men. Now, Potter, that first map, we just saw our first ever reverse sweep here. G-Men were down 2-0 to Globochem, and then they brought it back 3 unanswered points to seal the map. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's definitely so impressive out of G-Men to come back from a huge deficit. I mean, being down 2-0 on land in the grand finals, that's certainly not something that you can come back from so easily, but G-Men did exactly that. And if I was Globochem, I'd be feeling a little bit robbed, specifically in that last round, you know? So going into this next map, they're really gonna have to reset their mentality here and not be tilted, because that's... it was a little tough for them.
A little tough is an understatement,
Yeah.
Potter. But speaking of round 2, or map 2, in our series Best of 5, we're going to Bazaar. And now this is a team that, or a map that is well liked by all of our teams throughout the Onward competitive universe. So everyone's going to be ready to bring the heat here, and I think both teams have gotten quite a lot of practice, as we've seen Bazaar as a pretty popular map through the semifinals as well. What are your thoughts going into this? Who do you think is going to be more capable at this point? We've seen a good bit of both teams playing this weekend.
We certainly have, and Bazaar is, I think it's a map that both these teams are certainly going to be very familiar with. Although this is Globochem's pick, I mean, G-Men, they're going to have just as much strategies, and we saw it yesterday, right? We saw such different approaches from G-Men, and I like that from them. I like the depth that they've shown us thus far in this tournament, and that's exactly what we kind of talked about in the pre-segment coming into this, is the fact that they showed that much depth. However, on the other side of things, on the Globochem's side of things, I think they've got to feel robbed, and they can reverse that mentality, and they can think, you know what, we had that game 1, it was ours, well, let's just finish it out here in game 2.
Yeah, and to be fair, I've seen Globochem come back from being put in a corner quite often. It's not the first time they've ever been at the deficit, even on the last ropes, and they fight their way back and still somehow manage to come out on top. So in no way should anyone at home feel like Globochem are just out of this thing, that G-Men have just knocked them off their rocker. Now, maybe they have. Maybe that first map comeback has really put the screws to Globochem and really messed with their mentality. They are a very confident team coming into this. But yes, you talked about G-Men and their depth, but also their growth, right? We've seen them grow even over the course of the weekend here. So G-Men are bringing a whole new game to us here. It's a G-Men that I've never seen before. I mean, I think the viewers at home, even the members of our Onward community, are just at home going, what in the world did I just witness? I mean, this G-Men team is dangerous.
They really are, and they were the underdogs coming into this this tournament, right? I mean, even on day 1 when I was speaking with everyone, they weren't a name that was talked about, that was a feared team. It was always about Globochem, and it was always about beginners. And so seeing G-Men coming into this this finals and showing what they got, it's certainly impressive.
Yeah, and we'll go back and talk about the map for a second. I mean, it's Bazaar. It's a medium-sized map. However, it allows for both short, mid, and long-range engagements. You have very open street crossings, some of them very long sight lines on them, and a lot of them at very key aspects of the map, like that center street that runs from east to west, right? If someone's sitting on the flank on either side, any attacker coming across that very open plane is pretty much dead meat. And then there's some other spots that are able to watch there that are a lot more secure for the defender, so it's not as risky for them. But I mean, the objectives here on Bazaar are some of the most unique in that they are attackable from almost every angle at any point on the map.
It certainly is, and Bazaar is definitely one of the favorite maps for myself as well, because this is one of the maps that we very more often than not see those uplink opportunities, right? Is coming in for the sneaky uplink plays and putting in that code and gaining that 2-point advantage right off the bat. And we saw it yesterday, and I'm very hopeful that we see it again today, specifically because we saw so many teams with that opportunity come their way where they could actually capitalize on it, and we only saw one, actually G-Men, capitalize on it yesterday. So hopefully if that opportunity comes for either of these teams in this matchup, they capitalize on it.
You're right. They capitalized they capitalized or got that uplink. We call it a cap sometimes. Yeah, I know, everyone. Bad puns. Everyone, it's fine. Just DM me on Twitter. It's okay. But no, I mean, they had their capportunities, as I like to call them, and they just really didn't go for them. But we talked about it yesterday when the difference in the payouts between third, fourth, and then of course our first prize and second prize today are much larger jumps. So there was a lot on the line, even just getting to today. So the teams were playing it very safe. A lot of them with the opportunity to go for those uplinks did not take it because they were scared of giving up the point. And you really have to be, and Globochem are going to have to be like that now that they're down a map. G-Men have a little bit to work with. They can actually let this map slide, take it on to their next map choice, which would be Suburbia, where we would see another great bit of instant action going on, but we don't know, and we'll have to just see, you know, Pants down there on our cams looking pretty confident. Arsenic taking a load off. He doesn't want to get too stressed out. Again, these best-of-5 series in Onward can go on for quite some time, so you know, you really have to manage that stamina. It looks like Globochem's doing a great job. You got Raph there chilling out, hanging, maxing, and relaxing with Toast, getting his stuff together, just sitting down. Maybe they're discussing their plans for this next map. Everyone just trying to stay as cool and relaxed as possible between rounds, but I don't see that tilt factor in Globochem like we saw in their semi versus boss fight last night.
Which bodes really well for them, right?
Yes.
And this is exactly why best of 5s are, and best of 3s, these kinds of longer duration maps are what's needed and wanted by competitors, right? It's because at the end of the day, you can comfortably say the best man won or the best gamer won at the end of the day, right? So that's exactly why it's important for Globochem to not tilt and to show their stamina and what exactly they prepared.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they're very fortunate that Otto is there, one of the two brothers on the team for Globochem. He's a very calm and centered person. Like
I love his interviews.
Right?
Yeah.
He's just very mellow, but yet he's he's very verbose in his descriptions. Like, he gives a good face to Onward, in my opinion. He's well balanced. I've never really seen him ever get angry. I don't think I've ever seen Otto tilt. Pretty sure the guy does yoga, so he's very, very calm, cool, and collected at all times. So it's a great thing that Globochem have him down there today, and he's not back at home maybe, because he is probably helping to keep the team together. He's probably being that glue right now that they really need.
That's good. I mean, we talked about it yesterday on the desk, right? I think yoga would probably be very beneficial for a lot of these players. A lot of those the core strength elements coming into play, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They sure did. But we're going to go ahead and throw things back over to the desk. Ryan and Radar are there, of course, waiting. Ryan, what do you guys have?
Does that help? Maybe audio works. The power button is there for a reason. G-Men absolutely shocking the world as they topple Globochem in that first map. Next up, it's going to be Bizarre, though. But first, before we get into that, talk me through that amazing match.
I mean, it came out of the gate. Globochem looked very strong, right? So I've made some notes here. Round 1, Globo, absolute shutout. I think there was they lost one player. Destroyed G-Men. Map 2 comes in. It goes down to one Globo player, but it still looked like Globo was still at the upper hand, right? This is where the big switch happens. Round 3, complete, flawless victory for G-Men. 5 still up at the end of it. They take it back. Suddenly the momentum's in their core, right? We go into round 4, and then 404 makes this amazing flank. Goes around the back of the map, takes out 2 of Globochem, and puts them on the back foot. Psychologically, is anyone else behind our lines? So then they don't know, right? Now you've lost your momentum. You're checking your 6 constantly, and you know that you've lost 2 players to only 1 of G-Men. And then, of course, G-Men takes down another player, leaving only 2 Globochem players, and then Globochem fail to capitalize on that. They get taken down. G-Men hold it. Goes into round 5. Wow, G-Men bringing it. They get the momentum. They get the reses. I mean, it all to play for. And what you see happen there, it's the thing in VR, right? There's no HUD. You can't see people's labels. And we can see it here. You can't see any labels above people's heads. There's no team color, right? The only thing that sets them apart is the color of the khakis. Is it black, or is it, are you seeing the khakis of Marsoc, or are you seeing the black of Volk, right? So that's where these team kills comes in. And then you see that actually the team kills, one player goes down, the other player turns around thinking an enemy's behind him. Yeah. It's a teammate. He turns around and starts shooting at him, and it's only at that last second. Thankfully, he only had a pistol, right? So if it had been anything more powerful, he would have got a second team kill. But even so, he gets taken down, and then it's a one-on-one situation. A one-on-one situation in the first map, the last round. Can you ask for anything closer or anything better for a grand final?
Perfect way to open the grand final here. G-Men go up 1-0. I don't think anyone would have really predicted it. Of course, they played phenomenally well against beginners yesterday, so they did have the momentum coming in, but Globochem, the dominant force, the stone wall, the unstoppable force, always look like you can bet on them, but this first map just wasn't to be for Globochem. Second up, that we're going to be moving into Bazaar. What do you think they're going to bring to the table here? Because ideally, you know, G-Men want to take this as well and go up 2-0 in the grand final.
No, absolutely. But they did it against beginners yesterday, right? They took this map against beginners. They got the cap. They got the same cap that Boss Fight got
true.
against Globochem. The same objective done in a very similar style. Globochem have been burnt on that objective. If G-Men are lucky enough to get that, will Globochem have learnt from their mistakes yesterday? Will they have learnt from watching G-Men versus beginners? Because obviously G-Men are very confident on this map. They showed their game, and they took the map pick, which was beginners map pick. They took it from beginners.
Definitely came up and struck their stuff and brought success onto their side of the table. Now, Globochem, we've seen them lose before and come back during the Open Cups. Even yesterday they did that against Boss Fight, indeed. So we know that they're not down and out just because they're down a game, right? So this is going to be a chance for them to show again what they're made of. But do you think they can get it done here? Do G-Men have their number this time?
I think G-Men have got a good point, but as Potter said, you know, best of 5 changes things.
Yes. All right, so it's time to head over because Game 2 is ready and set to start here. So I'm going to throw you over to Potter and Sleepy to call the action.
Thank you so much, Ryan. We appreciate that, and we are excited to get into it here on map number 2. It's going to be Bazaar. Again, this will be a pick from Globochem, so we'll be expecting them to pull out the shots. However, G-Men always having something for them to answer back with. Potter, what do you think? Who's your choice from here after seeing map 1?
You know, I gotta put my confidence into Globochem. I think that they probably feel robbed. I'm hoping that their confidence pulls through here. But we've got Globochem coming out, and they're going to be able to control the pace here because they're attacking. So hopefully that bodes well for them. Although attacking specifically on a map like Bazaar, it is a little bit more tough.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, but it's also tough for the defenders here more so than some maps because, again, a lot of these objectives can be attacked from any single direction, and that's hard to watch, right? Well, the ones that have 1 or 2 entry points, that's easy. You assign a couple of guys to those definite spots and then maybe some floaters to help kind of hold back the push. But here, especially this center key-out objective like we're seeing on this, the G-Men are definitely going to be at the advantage here as they can just wait and bide their time as the attackers close in.
So the clock's still 4 minutes to go. Globochem have all the time in the world at the moment still, and you see them slowly moving towards that uplink in the center market, but they're still quite far away, and this is exactly kind of what they want. So looks like Raphael. Oh, it's so hard to read the name with that night
Raphael.
vision.
It is Raphael, though. Good call.
Yeah, with that night vision, it is hard to see, but he kind of has an inkling that a G-Men member is over here, so he's still poking and prodding at the moment.
Yeah, as we'll probably see them doing. Defense not really getting very aggressive if we see our overhead map. Zach Fontaine, who you're currently watching, is the farthest one from the objective, and even he's only about 30 meters away. 404 has a very tight angle on the approach from the east, so that's going to be hard to stop unless they get him down very early. But they will be at risk to Zach Fontaine, who we saw a bit earlier, who's just a bit south, kind of watching the cross. So they're watching it from 2 different sides. Whoever goes out there is basically going to be fragged.
Definitely, and Toast and Raphael have made their way pretty close to that uplink, and they've got an enemy in that high ground, but it looks like Pants does take him out with no answer, no refrags coming out of the G-Men side. So actually, Globochem already have an advantage, a one-man advantage here, 5 versus 4 with 2.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, and there's 2 of them now kind of stacked, or 3 of them now getting stacked up on the east. The entire team coming from the east, a couple from up north, but now they're bunched very closely together. Defensive aggression here could catch 2 or 3 out if they're not ready for it. And there's Zach Fontaine with his spot, but they'll be ready to answer back. Pants with a quick refrag onto Zach. Things will even out a bit, but Globochem still with the man advantage in a 4v3 scenario.
Really nice reactions from Pants there because Zach Fontaine was in such an advantageous position, so forward, and Globochem definitely had no idea that he was there, but good on Pants to respond there. And it looks like still Globochem have a pretty good chance into this round. They just need to wait a little bit for their 4th member who's all the way out on that east side by that east tank. They need to wait for him to kind of rendezvous back up with Globochem.
Yeah, I was wondering, as that push kind of dissolved a little bit and they egressed out, I'm kind of wondering what that guy going south is doing. Maybe he's going to come in and press west.
He was covering that north street. He was covering that north street for a little while. I'm not sure exactly why he's going so far south right now, but he is on his way, and yeah, maybe he's just going to wrap all the way around west and try to create a really long flank.
Yeah, or, well, it's not uncommon either for the defenders to sometimes get squirrely and go off on a long flank either. So it could have been a south flank defense, like the defender coming around from the south instead of the north, as they probably knew that that was cut off. But either way, he's definitely getting in behind the defenders, isn't he? He's gone all the way to the west side. He's almost into that western courtyard. He's going to be able to kind of sneak up if he slows down his pace and doesn't give himself away with those footsteps.
For sure. He's got to pause right here and allow Globochem members to kind of draw out and create a diversion for him so that he doesn't need to be too sneaky. Hopefully this long flank pays off because they've invested quite a lot of time, and it does. Raphael with it down onto the man, creating even more of an opportunity for Globochem.
Yeah, that's a big hole. He's still alive to be up. Pants will find Swooty, and that's going to open the door. Globochem could be rushing in. This could be it, but no,
Wow.
The last member of G-Men makes himself just too easy to kill. He's not going to give up 2 points, and Globochem are going to lead us into map number 2 with the first point. However, we did see this in map 1.
And you see the celebrations coming out of the Globochem members, and definitely deserved because they put so much into that round, so much thought, and they had to invest nearly 2 minutes for for that member to make that full flank around that west corridor. But it certainly paid off for them, and I like the fact that they slowed it down. I like that it was very calculated on their part, and they won with a huge man advantage.
Yeah, I mean, if they rushed in there, they were nothing but cannon fodder for the defense of the G-Men. But because of their ability to read and adapt to the situation, something that I've talked about in previous airings, of Globochem, they're really good about that. But so is G-Men, right? We saw some very decisive Marsoc rounds from them on Cargo, and I have to say I'm going to be waiting for them to do the same here on Bazaar because they pull out some pretty insane lines when they go across this map, and I'm not too sure G-Men won't have an answer back in this next round.
Certainly, and actually G-Men did have a nice setup though from the beginning. I liked Zach Fontaine's position. I don't think Globochem knew that he was there. I think that he was in a pretty advantageous position. I think he just needed to get one more kill making it 2 kills instead of just that one.
Yeah, and initially on that setup, we would have thought that would have been all that happened. The offender would have pushed out, and he would have taken the frag, and that would have been it. But since they had stacked up those 3, they kind of huddled up like that. Pants was there to get that immediate refrag.
Quick reactions.
And I mean,
Very
that's
quick.
the thing about Pants and Toast, who we're seeing on camera right now. They're both such amazing twitch shooters. They can pull that rifle up, aim, and get that quick kill faster than most times you can even see them.
And that's definitely a luxury to have on your side, on your team, for sure, indeed. Now we're going to see a swap and see how Globochem do with defending now. Or, sorry, attacking. Yeah,
yes.
Attacking now.
Yeah, and well, this objective, it lends itself to a lot of opportunities to go for that uplink. So I'm going to be waiting to see how G-Men are going to get that cap man in there, that guy who's going to put in that 7-digit code, because we did see them get a couple of close attempts. They did actually, this was the map they capped on beginners to seal our semifinal yesterday. So it's definitely in their blood to be able to get in there and type that phone number in for their cable service provider and get that satellite signal returned to the area.
For sure, and making plays like that and being clutch, I mean, going for those ballsy plays almost and coming out alive at the top, those are the plays that really differentiate the greats from just the goods, right? So taking those chances and risks, I think it definitely is something that develops players into becoming better and better.
Yeah, are you a cookie cutter champion, or are you able to maintain that throne with your adaptability and growth? And we've seen a lot of that from G-Men. Globochem, of course, always adapting, always growing, because they've got a target on their back so big, I think you could hit it with a baseball from here, Potter.
Well, we're going to head right back into this right now. Oh, actually, it's going to be reset really quickly. Just
Quick
fixing,
little round glitch,
yeah,
yeah.
fixing just couple little things. We get to see these players once more, and as you can see, these guys are ready. They've put in the hours.
Oh, there is no doubt about that. I can assure you that just about every member on that stage is 1,000+ hours in at this point. Now, they might not have that many hours in on the most recent patch, but I think that's going to even give us a more balanced game. We're really going to see which team is actually better, right? It's not going to be so much about map knowledge anymore, that some things will have changed. It's going to be about how your team's composition works and how you learn to work with what you've been given here in this competitive environment in order to come out on top.
For sure, and it's really about reacting, and we've seen some really strong reactions, as you mentioned earlier, from Pants of G-Men and on Globochem side of things as well. Both of these teams in the finals, it seems that their reactions have been top notch.
Oh yeah, there's usually there's about 70% of the time there's always someone there to catch the refrag, right? We've seen that a lot of back and forth, and today's game is just not going to be easy for them. They've got an opponent here that is just ready to bring it to them. Former NA champions, former world champions in Globochem, and G-Men always just barely missing the mark at various qualifying events or just throughout regular season play. I mean, they did qualify very securely in the online closed qualifiers, but Globochem is a force to reckon with at any point in time. I mean, this could still just go any way. Globochem has the experience, but G-Men is a brand new machine, and I just don't know which one I would lean towards at this point.
Definitely, and what an upset it would actually really be if G-Men were actually able to pull this one off.
Yeah, I think everyone's minds would be blown. I might be a little speechless if that happens, but it looks like we are finally ready to get into our second round here on Bazaar. Again, as Potter mentioned, G-Men will be on the attack this time, or maybe not, as we do get another round reset. Unfortunately, another small glitch. And yeah, I mean, what else can we say? Sometimes it happens, right? We all play games. We all have a glitch every now and then.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've had to restart my games. I mean,
or restart your whole computer because it's just completely crashed, right?
Yeah, sometimes these things do happen, of course. But these players, you know, this is one of those things that they have to prepare themselves for and stay focused. Remaining focused is pretty challenging, right, Sleepy?
Oh, absolutely. And in these long days especially, like, keeping that focus, if it keeps getting interrupted and your momentum gets broken, that's also going to be another determining factor. Like, you have to be able to maintain that whole thing, right? Like, you cannot just expect someone to be able to hold it together. That's something you really have to work on. You really have to try to keep yourself focused in these tight situations where there's a lot on the line here, and it's super competitive. Every match is just really testing your limits.
It definitely is. Well, folks, we're going to take a quick break while these players just gather their things and get ready. We'll be right back. Please stay with us.
Could you do that elsewhere? It's blocking my sun.
This is the one I've been searching for.
All my life been looking for true love, a real one. You, all I wanted to do is you. Be there for you. Be there for you.
And welcome back, everyone, to the VR League World Finals. This particular final is going to be for Onward. And we have two amazing teams here representing the North America. On your left-hand side of your screen, you will see the mighty Globochem. And on the right, the new and improved, you could say, G-Men. Potter.
The
How are
new
ya?
and improved, indeed, absolutely. I mean, they've definitely shown up here. We're gonna just jump straight into it with G-Men now on the attacking side and
Yes.
Globochem defending. And we saw exactly how well Globochem attacked on the last round. So let's see how their defense is now.
Yeah, G-Men are going to be looking to respond here. They don't want to let it get to that do-or-die situation like they had in Cargo, right? They were 2-0 against Globochem there, or 0-2, I should say, against Globochem there, and they brought it back for a slight victory. But here, they really can't let it run away because Bazaar will lend itself to a walkout if you do.
Absolutely. And we just saw Toast there just covering out some fire, making sure that that angle was clear. And we see G-Men taking a very calculated approach, but a slightly different one from Globochem in the last round. These guys are split up right off the bat. And we've got one of the players on G-Men in the far southwest side making a huge turnaround. And I expect him to go towards that northwest outskirts there and try to see if he can get an opening.
Yeah, and on that, if you look at your mini-map, don't be alarmed. If you only see 4 blue arrows there, it's just a spectator glitch currently. There are 5 G-men currently on the map. I believe there's actually 3 members down there in the southwest, or they could actually be the 2 on the other side. However, no need for alarm there. Everyone's still on a fair playing field of 5v5. Globochem playing very tight, but yes, like you said, G-Men taking a very different approach to attacking this. They're coming at it from 2 prongs at the start rather than adapting and changing it up like Globochem did in the round before.
And Brass to Mouth here is in a very forward position, and there he goes. He takes out Arsenic. He had an inkling. He was looking towards that man, and he actually finds him out and creates an opening for G-Men to start off this round.
Yeah, he does, and that is good. They took down Arsenic. That's their long-range shooter. Whether it's with a 12x or a holographic scope, Arsenic is a danger. He's a quick shot, and he's very accurate. Radar had said he likes to use his Black Mamba. That's his black PVC pipe rifle stock, and it does well for him, but not today as Brass to Mouth gets that headshot, so taking him down quick could be a good move here for G-Men.
And again, because Brass to Mouth is in such a forward position, he knows that he can communicate now to his teammates, and you can see now 2 members on the G-Men squad are slowly pushing up on that west side, and they're about to run into a defender, a lone defender on that Globochem side.
Yeah, they sure are. And if they're successful, they should be able to also draw the attention off of the eastern front and maybe allow that eastern push to get in there and possibly get an uplink under the noses of Globochem while their defenses are distracted. That's what I'm looking for here from that western push.
Definitely an uplink play would be optimal for G-Men to really catapult themselves on that scoreboard. We see Otto here. They're turtling up here. They're definitely turtling up, which is definitely the right call.
Oh, yeah.
And Sudi just rendezvousing with his team. I think G-Men are trying to calculate their next move here and how they want to approach this, but we've got a member of G-Men and Globochem so close to each other right now on that northwest courtyard.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Onward. You could always have someone right on the other side of the wall. So really, anytime you talk, even if you think you're relatively safe, you could be giving yourself away and subject to an ambush very shortly after. Looks like Brass to Mouth there is pulling out his tablet. He might even be memorizing that code. We could be looking for, we could be seeing an uplink push here very, very shortly, Potter. We have a minute, 30 seconds left. Smokes are out from Swooty, but some return fire. I think he might have got clipped there. The man's pushing in from the northwest side of the map. He's going to be wrapping around, looking to get the frags in that courtyard behind the kiosk building. That will be crucial in opening up the north and allowing them to slip in the back door.
Let's take a look at the man here. If we take a look at the man, he's about, and he goes down by Pants. And you're right, the man was in an optimal position to try to create an opening, but he does get punished. And he gets finished off by Pants.
Yes, he does. But that doesn't mean everything's over. That was Pants' job to listen for that north push. He just chose to ambush it rather than waiting for it to come to him. Now they're defending. You can hear the frantic chatter. Otto finds Zach Fontaine downstairs, but Brass to Mouth will pick up Otto, and it'll be between Jizzy and Brass as he pushes in. I think he might go upstairs. He's going to go upstairs to get the uplink. They have no idea he's up there.
They're communicating it out right now, but I think it's a little too late. We saw Brass to Mouth already practicing
it out. It. Oh my goodness.
And he gets the kills to boot. Brass to Mouth, you mentioned it earlier. He was practicing and dry running the code. They already planned it out. He knew as soon as his teammates get contact and create that diversion, he beelined it to that uplink, puts in that code, and now, after being down a deficit 1-0, they're all of a sudden in the lead.
I told you they'd be looking to answer back. We saw Brass to Mouth pull out that tablet and do a quick refresher, and that quick refresher is just what he needed, Potter. You called it exactly right. He made the right choices. You saw he went for it downstairs. He was like, should I? And then he turned around, went upstairs, pulled the tablet out, and you could hear the comms from Jizzy, or from Pants, I'm sorry.
They panicked.
Oh, he was in a panic. That is not good. I bet if we pan the stage now over Globochem, Pants is going to be in a bit of a fit right now. Pants will be on tilt, I have a feeling, after that. They were very, very nervous at the end.
And such unfortunate rounds coming out for Globochem because it seems like they're running into these slight errors in judgment, and it's really punishing them. And usually, these kinds of plays, you can bounce back from them, but wow, it's happening round after round.
It is, and with that uplink, I mean, it's not that they got 2 points, right? Because Globochem can still come back and get an uplink of their own and end the map here. But it's that demoralizing aspect of knowing you still had 3 of your men alive to defend that spot. and they still somehow managed to sneak past you and just get that uplink. And man, was that uplink entered quickly. I don't think Brass was typing that in for more than 3 seconds tops.
It was fast. It was fast. And I mean, Globochem, yeah, you're right. They had 3 men left up, and they were probably feeling pretty good about themselves. But let's go right back into this. And now Globochem is on the attack, you know, and they still have to feel confident because their attack, it worked out for them beautifully in the first round. So they just kind of have to replicate that for themselves and potentially even go for an uplink play themselves.
Yeah, I don't know if it's really in Globochem's style to do that. And it's going to be a risk considering G-Men are sitting on a defensive egg right now that all they have to do is just warm for about 4.5 minutes, cool off in the oven, and then down the hatch. That's another map down in their 2-0 so far right now. It's looking like against Globochem. And I mean, that uplink was a huge play for them. Being on the defense for your last point in a map is a great thing, and they just cannot squander this opportunity.
And we've got G-Men here, and it looks like one of their members is down to this Hotel Blue room. And yesterday, I remember G-Men on this exact map with that player in that exact same spot, and he found a lot of success there on that defensive side. So let's see if he can actually pull something together here in this round.
Yeah, this objective definitely has some specific locations. I'll get the word out eventually. That defenses will typically take in order to watch key angles on the approach or on the attack itself. And yeah, that one is definitely one there in that blue room near the hotel area. Globochem have their work cut out for them, but as you can look on the map, I mean, their coordination, just look how straight of a line that front push is. They're just almost exactly in line from north to south down the map, and that's just the level of competency that they have and where their teammates are at just about any given moment in the map.
Definitely a lot of coordination coming out from the Globochem side, and hopefully that pays off for them because right now they're all looking towards the same area. We don't see any flanks happening just yet, but Globochem still have a full 3 minutes to make something happen for themselves, so they don't quite need to work on that flank quite yet.
No, absolutely not. They have plenty of time left for here on Bazaar, and they know it. Again, it's going to be all up to G-Men here, in my opinion. If they stay tucked in and don't make any unnecessary peeks like we saw a few people doing.
Pants is about to run into someone any moment, I believe, and I think he has an inkling. He's taking a look at his tablet.
No, he's lucky. I think he does hear the defender there, the man, I believe it was, in that room, but he is not connected to that. He would have to go outside and suscept himself to covery fire from the defense to get there. However, yes, he did hear those noises and he called it out. Some trade fire coming out there. Not quite sure who that's coming from. Brass to mouth maybe putting some pressure on an attacker.
Hey, Pants, how are you?
And the man already understanding and kind of having an inkling himself that Pants is on that other side of the wall, kind of calling out, taunting his enemy. And Pants setting out some pre-fire. That's his answer.
Yeah, well, Pans has this thing that he likes to do as well where he kind of does that AD mechanic that you would see in like CS when you're peeking a corner and just kind of strafing it really fast.
Jiggle peek.
Yeah, the jiggle peek. He does that quite often in game, and it works. And so that little jiggle peek plus the pre-fire is enough to just kind of pressure anyone who might be peeking there waiting for that push from that room.
Definitely. Yeah, we kind of do that to try to kind of just bait a reaction from your enemy, right? So you just jiggle peek it and see if what kind of response that they're going to have, and kind of paints you a picture. It's free information, right?
Yeah, it sure is, especially if you don't get caught out. We'll see some smoke coming in from Globochem. It's the last minute 38, so this is going to be the push that we're waiting for. None of the members of either team have gone down yet, but we'll be seeing a lot of that coming shortly as Arsenic's got his way almost to the objective, and he finds Brass to mouth, and we're going for an uplink play here. No, 404 finds Arsenic instead. Toast and Pants both pick up one. It's a 1v4 situation, and Globochem are going to take it. We're back to a 2-2 here in map number 2.
That happens so fast and so quick, and that's exactly what we kind of expect out of Globochem. It's kind of their go-to plays is just choking out your enemy, and we discussed it a lot yesterday, but they'll kind of create a perimeter, a barrier around these defenders and take it to the last minute and make their defenders get so nervous and so paranoid, and then eventually they pounce.
Yeah, absolutely right. And that's exactly what happened. And because G-Men didn't take a more aggressive defense, they couldn't stop them from getting in right on top of the objective and tightening that noose so much that G-Men had no exit if they really needed to break contact and get away to try and find another angle. They were stuck in the noose of Globochem there, and that's exactly how that could have ended, and it did.
Yeah, that's got to be a nice confidence booster for Globochem here. If they just tighten up a little bit more and polish up their plays and not let these mistakes punish them so heavily, such as the uplink that we've seen or such as the random TKing that we saw in the first map. So if they just tighten it up just a little bit, I think their fundamentals are a little bit stronger and it's really carrying them through in a lot of these rounds.
Yeah, you're right. I can agree with that completely. G-Men are appearing to take on a whole new form here, so maybe they're still finding that form, and Globochem will be able to capitalize on it with their, more core mechanics, as you said, that are in fact a bit sharper, I'd say, than G-Men's. But G-Men have been putting up a heck of a fight here. That was their map to kind of lose in that point, and unfortunately they did. But that just shows the prowess on both sides of the field here, right? I mean, Globochem are strong attackers. We've seen G-Men with some very decidedly favored attack points in rounds as well. So, I mean, it's really just going back and forth here, and we got to love that. But now we'll go ahead and get into it. This will be the final point. Whoever takes this one, Potter, takes map 2, and we'll continue on the series.
So now we've got G-Men on the attack here. It's going to be curious to see if they approach it the same way that they did last time, or if they kind of change it up. I feel like they've got to be a little more cautious this time around. This point means so much to them.
Well, we'll see. The G-Men actually got the quick spawn here, and they're going to try and use that aggression, but Globochem is not scared. They've got Toast already in a very aggressive forward position in that center kiosk building. He's going to be trying to cut off that G-Men approach through that building, and he's already going to have Zach Fontaine just a few meters away already. And you can see there Zach Fontaine pulling out that tablet. That is basically your only source of information in this game other than a watch and your communications. That will tell you how many people you have left on your team. It's got a small mini map on it so you can orient yourself in the map, but also it gives the time left in the map as well as that ever so valuable uplink code, Potter, that 7-digit number you have to type in to get those 2 points as we saw earlier.
So Toast is in that forward position. We saw him beelining it, and again, we're on Toast's screen. He has an enemy right around that corner, and he has an inkling. I mean, from the get-go, he made it to this position, so I think he has some sort of an idea of how he wants to cut off his enemy. And as we're watching Sudi, he's in the far south street. He's making quite the trek to make it all the way around to that east side.
Yeah, he is, and it's worth it, to be fair, because now they've already got 2 guys, it appears, set up in that center kiosk building. They're ready. So they'll probably launch an attack from there while another one comes in from that east street, but they will have to clear that Globochem defender that's sitting off in the east. He's going to be a hard point for them. If they can break that kink in the chain, they might be able to gain the advantage here on their final attack, which would then be, my guess, to come in similar to how Globochem did in the final moments now that their momentum has been slowed by the response of Globochem.
Absolutely, and Brass to Mouth, he kind of also has an inkling here of where Toast might be. Oh, but he's making a lot of noise. Surely Toast has heard this, and it looks like, yep, Toast is reacting to this movement. And Brass to Mouth, at the moment, he's distracted with his pad, so this might be the opening for Toast.
Yeah, it could be, and it could actually be Zach Fontaine, the other member of G-Men that's right there that ends up falling to all of Brass to Movement's moves. He was sitting in that corner nice and quiet, but then Brass came rushing up. It could have meant Zach got the barrel of Toast's weapon instead, but oh no, they're not looking. Toast is watching that doorway, and there goes Zach Fontaine. Now it's going to be Brass to Mouth. They did get that nice trade, though, so it stays 4-4, but Brass to Mouth going to be coming out on top, and I was right, though. Zach Fontaine going to pay for Brass's mistakes.
Really nice trade right there. 4v4 scenario already, and Globochem, they've now tightened up their defense around that uplink, and we've still got 2 members of the G-Men side in that far east tank side, and they look a little unsure of themselves. I think they kind of have an inkling that that member from Globochem is there. They're being very cautious at the moment.
Yeah, they really are. Some smokes came out, but Globochem calls it and calls the perceived direction. Pants pops out and finds a nice headshot on the 4-4. Now we're getting firefights back and forth as the southeast push comes in now. They're a little bit too far out still. They got their guys hanging out in the north, and that's going to be awfully wasted time. They've got 2 minutes left and still far off in the southeast. They have been pretty much cut off from entering that attack zone.
They really have, these 2 members, and you see here one of the members from G-Men. They are splitting up because you're right, they are so far away from the objective and they've been distracted. Pants has been holding down the fort on this east side, and they haven't been able to make any movements towards it. So really good defense from Pants.
And also a great check nade there from Pants, too, as we were watching. He tosses it over right to about where Brass to Mouth and Swoody are. But luckily for them, it falls just too far, but he knows they're there, and then he finds the kill onto the man, and now it's just up to Swooty. It's a 1v4. It's looking pretty solid for Globochem at this point.
Yeah, what a fantastic performance for Pants here to just step up on that defensive side. He was the lone man defending that east side, and from the beginning of the round, it was 1 versus 3. We had 3 members on the G-Men side trying to challenge Pants, and Pants won it every single time.
I just saw it when we went into Pants' view. Pants is 10-1, I think, on this map. When we jump into the view of his pants, he was 10-1, Potter. That's amazing for this game has zero TTK.
Yeah.
Right? Time to kill is very low. So for him to stay alive through all of these rounds except for 1 is amazing.
It really is amazing. And what a time for him to just show up and wake up and clutch out these rounds, because Globochem absolutely needed them, because G-Men was almost about to steal out this map as well.
Yeah, they really were. They were on the precipice, and they lost it in that defensive round, and now they've just fallen apart here on the attack round. It's all up to Swooty. Can he do it? It's very unlikely a 1v4 in this scenario because they have so many cross angles checked off on the defensive side. It's just going to be impossible. The second Swooty kills 1, another will be right there for him, and I don't think he's ready for that.
Yeah, the decks are stacked against him really by quite a lot. Now 10 seconds, it doesn't even... Oh, well, nice kill from Swooty there to take out Pants.
And there's the refrag from Arsenic after a quick call out from a down Pants. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Globochem will take map number 2 and tie the series up 1-1 here as we go forward into our third map, which will be Suburbia, chosen again by the G-Men. So a great play there from Globochem. And Potter, I think you were saying before this map started up that you were kind of starting to favor Globochem again here and coming back for the series.
I definitely was. I mean, G-Men, what a great map for them. I really like the uplink play. I think it could have almost created another upset series right then and there. So kudos to them. But Globochem, again, they look more calm and collected, and specifically Pants. What a performance so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Pants, as we saw, like 10-1 or maybe 11-1 at the end of that. But now we'll get into some of the replays from the round. A nice kill from Zach Fontaine in that ambush position we talked about, which was immediately refragged by Pants. We talked about that quick snapshot. And here's the push into the objective. Pants just going hammer there again. You can hear how vocal he is by just shouting out commands at the team and intel to the team. It's just amazing. Then, of course, you have this awesome cap play from Brass to Mouth here. And there's the go, go, go from Pants. It was just crucial. And he gets the 2 kills at the end to just say, you know what? Drop mic and walk off.
That's certainly a feels-good moment for Brass to Mouth. It was such a clutch play, right? And just the conviction on him to just immediately beeline it upstairs and to put in that code. It was really fantastic to watch.
It really was. Well, we've had some great plays here for our second map, but please do stay tuned. We'll be going to a short break, and we're having you come back to us here very shortly here on the VR League.
just picked a fight with the Sorcerer Supreme.
You wanted it, you got it.
That one's for the bugle. This is awesome.
All my life been looking for true love, a real one. You, all I want to do is you. Be there for you. Be there for you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for map number 3 to knock things out of balance a bit, right, Potter? We've got a 1-to-1 series here so far between our competitors, Globochem and G-Men, here at the VR League season finals. What are your thoughts going into map 3? We're going to Suburbia. This is G-Men's pick. It's a close quarters map, but Globochem aren't any slouches here.
Definitely not. I mean, Suburbia is one of those maps, again, it's very explosive. I think there's so many corners to clean, right? And turtling up in those houses with the uplink, it seems to be the paranoia starts to set in, right, when you're on that attacking side. So it's definitely a challenging map for the attacking side, I think.
Yeah, you got that right. A lot of these objectives are very open. They don't provide themselves with a lot of cover for you to hide behind or sneak into to get the caps. There's only 1 or 2 that I can think of that you can get from kind of cheekier positions. So the defenders, if they play a tight defense, are usually able to come out with their wins here. But we'll see a lot of well-placed grenades, I feel like, in this map. There's not a lot of ceiling cover, so nothing to really stop a grenade from going long range. And Globochem and G-Men both know how to place their grenades in just the right spots, I think.
Definitely. I mean, those grenades played such a key role yesterday in G-Men's victory, and they seem to really have that Kobe hand down.
Oh, yeah. Globochem, I could say them, and I'd say SMC Tactical, who is a team who isn't here this weekend. But they're another team that I would say have those Kobe nades on lock. I mean, beginners also have that, but unfortunately yesterday it wasn't enough to topple these G-Men. They are in it. Maybe the G in G-Men stands for grenade. They're grenade men.
Hey, that's actually a pretty solid guess because, I mean, these players take that pretty seriously. You see them dry running it and going through the motions here in warm-ups all the time, right? So it's definitely pretty crazy.
Yeah, and we'll find out soon enough because it sounds like our competitors are ready to take the stage once again, both physically and in the VR world.
Yes.
As we get into map number 3 here, Globochem will be first to defend on your orange side. G-Men, the guys in blue, will be attacking, trying to get that uplink, trying to get those 2 points.
Absolutely, and right off the bat, Raphael just sending out some warning shots to his opponents right away here. And like we mentioned earlier, this map is pretty challenging for the attacking side, but we see G-Men already pushing forward so aggressively. These guys look like they have a really solid plan here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think both teams, Suburbia is one of the oldest maps in Onward as well, so just about every player in the game, whether they're a pub player or a comp player, they're going to have played this map thousands of times. This used to be the default starter, lobby starter, right? You would just pick Suburbia because it's small, and even if people didn't come in right away, it wasn't that big a deal. So these teams are going to have so many great strategies for this map. It'll be impressive to watch here. And yes, like you said, G-Men seem to know exactly what they're doing. They are all huddled up there in the center right now, but that will soon start to dissipate, and they'll start to spread out as they exit from the middle portion of the map.
For sure, and this entire time, G-Men, they've had a member in that far south front house this entire time, and I think he's just holding on for a flank. Maybe he knows something in his research and the homework and told them, hey, Globochem members always like to flank around this east street. But yeah, he's a little bit further away from his team and G-Men right now, so hopefully he rendezvous up and meets them back up, and they do a coordinated push towards that uplink.
Yeah, it is not very uncommon to see a team do that flank that you were talking about. So Swooty's position, definitely very well thought out. It is a good choice, especially since they haven't lost anyone yet. Now, if I'd said they'd taken a frag or 2 already, I would say Swooty's a little bit out of position. But then again, the defense will get a bit cocky sometimes once they get a couple of those frags, and they'll put themselves in a precarious position that you could capitalize on if you're ready and waiting like he was.
Definitely, and he was already met up back with his teammates again. So this tells me they're starting to get ready for this push. They've still got a solid 3 minutes left on the round, though, so they've got plenty of time to bait out some more utility out of Globochem and try to figure out where these members are. And oh no, unfortunately, the man takes out Sudi there, and maybe he was a little concerned because, again, Sudi was that member that was in the far south front house, so maybe it kind of threw off the man, unfortunately, and he takes out his own teammate, and that's going to make it a lot more tough for G-Men on this attacking.
Sure will, and the other thing is it's going to perk Pants up, as you can see. Now he's watching that angle even tighter than he was before. He knows that they're getting very, very close to him, and he's right. They're just around the corner, and at any moment this could be going the other way. But Zach Fontaine is actually going to take him down. That's going to be very key here. If the right smokes or the right check nades come out and they are successful, it could be G-Men going for an uplink here.
And G-Man, they're in some really nice
There it
positions
is.
here. Swooty redeeming himself, taking down Raphael, and that's just a down at the moment. Let's see if he's able to actually clean that kill up. But actually, G-Men are in some really optimal positions, and they might even catch out Otto here.
Yeah, Otto's getting very aggressive. It's not too smart. The smokes have come out, so he's trying to play it safe because if his vision's occluded, he is pretty much worthless. And Raphael is the man on the other side of the objective trying to get back up. Otto's trying to get to him. You can see him being very risky here as he crouches his way across the street. He might be able to find one or two here. They haven't noticed him yet, but the second that first man dies, there's the first one down. Arsenic will find 404 as Otto picks up Zach Fontaine, and things are really heating up as the G-Men push in for the objective, but Arsenic is going to find Swooty as well as one man left on G-Men and only two left alive, I should say, for Globochem. Brass to Mouth will find one of them, and now it's just a 1v1.
A 1v1 indeed, and wow, Arsenic, what quick reactions from him. He's going to try to recollect himself and try to slow down the pace and draw out his enemy and find out exactly where this last standing member of G-Men is, because he really doesn't know, and a lot of action just happened, so this is good for him to try to slow things down. Brass to Mouth is making so much noise, though. Surely Arsenic has heard this.
Oh, absolutely. He's bound to hear it. You can see him watching that gate exit right now. And, of course, the two down players of Globochem, they don't need to be revived. There's enough time left in this match where they could actually wait the bleed out timer and just be mobile satellites. But there, as we talk about it, Arsenic gets ready with the grenade pin, comes around the corner and finds Brass to Mouth and takes another round for Globochem here on map 3. It's 1-0.
What a clutch round coming out from Arsenic there. He just paused for a second, collected himself. Then he heard Brass to Mouth coming towards him. Then at the end there, as soon as Brass to Mouth starts looting, Arsenic makes his move. Quick reactions, and he gets rewarded.
Yeah, he was able to tell that the attacker was very vulnerable at that point in time, and he capitalized on it, right? You're not paying attention to who's coming around the corner if you're too busy rifling through your dead teammates' things to try and find more utility. And Arsenic heard him, like you said. He came around that corner for the ambush, and it paid off well. But overall, I was really surprised because I thought G-Men with that grenade, the Swooty's grenade onto Raphael there on top of the objective was very key to their success in that push. But Otto's brazen ability to get out there in the street and mix it up and get a couple of frags as Arsenic came in from behind. I mean, things were just really heating up there for the longest time, and I really didn't know which way that was going to go.
Absolutely, and I can even imagine Otto just prone so low to the ground in real life and just trying to replicate that in game. He's got to have been so low because he was hiding below that tiny street separator thingy.
Yeah, the street barrier.
Yeah.
And it's not very tall. It might be about waist height. So getting him behind that, it's really going to make you tuck and make you hide. But even just him pushing out to the street and then ducking low enough to get behind those tiny little fences, some great play from him, and he was able to even get a couple of picks on that to help his team before he went down. I mean, overall, that first round here on Suburbia really telling a tale. It's going to be hard for either team to come out on top here. I think they're both about equally matched at this point.
Absolutely, and we spoke about Globochem potentially cleaning up their plays, and it would be easier for them, but the same could be said for G-Men. I mean, these guys have kind of luckily put up the points by gaining that uplink, and also the little shuffle from Globochem where they TK'd each other. But now G-Men is in a position where they have to polish up their plays because that TK from Sudi in the beginning,
oh yeah,
that's rough.
Yeah, that definitely hurt, and you wished it was a team downing, like just be able to res him right back up, but unfortunately, he did hold that trigger for just a second too long, and of course in Onward it doesn't take much. In a snap, you're gone. So
and it such a feels bad because Sudi was the member that was watching his entire team's back for that whole time, right? He was the lone man that was left behind. But we're gonna jump straight back into this, and it's Globochem with the lead at 1-0, and now they're on the attacking side, and they had such a convincing defense here. Let's see, I'm curious to see what their attack is going to be like.
Yeah, and you talk about turtling a lot, Potter, but I got to let you know, in the Onward community, Raphael is actually considered a Ninja Turtle due to his shield-wielding abilities. So your turtling reference all day has been just hearkening back to his nickname for me, and he's, of course, rocking his shield once again.
I think he spotted him out. I think Raphael has spotted out that member on G-Men on the other side of the street, and I think he's probably communicating to his team because he's only got that shield, and yeah, we see the movement from Globochem. He's meeting up with Raphael, who has that shield, And I think they've spotted out that member of G-Men who's kind of pushed out very far away from that uplink.
Yeah, you're right. He's just covering that lane. He is kind of their last defense. He's watching for the flank in case they wrap all the way around. It used to be very common for teams to try and get into that backfield behind where the defenders are and come in from the backside. But if you can shut that down on the flanks, then you're good. And that's what they're doing. And yes, Raphael probably did see him through those bushes because those bushes you can see through, right? And since he has his shield, he doesn't have to worry about taking a headshot while he's peeking through a bush like some of his teammates will.
Definitely, and we see Raphael making some quick movements, and really, they've beelined it across to the center of the house. They're near that garden house. It looks like a change of plans, a change of pace. We did hear a little bit of communication just a few seconds ago.
Yeah, absolutely, and Globochem definitely not shy on the communication. A nice flash and a little bit of pre-fire through the fence. Another good thing to mention that a lot of objects are penetrable in Onward, such as wood fences and things. So standing on the other side of the fence does not mean that you are safe from your enemy. If they know you're there, they can just fire the corner of the fence and just take you right out without ever having to see your face.
And again, Raphael throwing out the communications, and it looks like they are going to start moving forward on that east side. We saw him beelining it once more, and that's a Kobe.
All
That's
day.
a Kobe. Raphael took a chance. He spotted the man there from the beginning of the round, and the man chose to stay in that position. And what a grenade. Just right on the money.
Yeah, absolutely. Key placement right there from Raphael. Now we're going to see him toss the smoke out. He's finally able to get the angle that he needs to kill the man. He finally confirms that. So that far flank watch is dead. Here's the smoke. The pressure's coming in there on that corner as well. Toast is going to be putting out some fire on the opposite side of the map, but nothing really going. It's 2 minutes 30 left. Still plenty of time here for Globochem. They're right on the precipice of being able to start their attack. They just need to get a few more ducks in a row, and then we should be seeing some exciting stuff happening here any moment now.
What a play from the man so far. We spoke about him in the pre-game with that shield. I mean, he picked it up and picked up that smoke and was crossing the street, and man, it's paying off for Globochem.
Yeah, so a recent update, the smokes became more directional as far as to which way the top of the canister for the smoke is. So you'll even see a lot of teams now holding the smoke out directly in front of them and pointing the top of that canister where they're going. So they're essentially just constantly walking into a billowing cloud of smoke as they try and make a cross. And since the defender can't see your exact position or know how far out in front of you he's holding that smoke grenade, he doesn't know where to shoot, and so it's likely that you'll be able to cross a very open street by utilizing this tactic. Now we're seeing another check nade from Pants. This could be the attack we've been waiting for. 1 minute and 40 seconds left. Toast does find a kill onto Zach Fontaine, or at least a downing. He'll still be giving call-outs, but G-Men going to be really on the defensive here. Oh, Brass to Mouth on lane 4. He's gonna see Brass to Mouth. Brass to Mouth going to put out some shots, but no connections. Of course, that shield going to be playing well into his favor. That's a flashbang. Yes, it is. Raph should be blind here, but he's got a good protection. He's got to push around to the flank. Brass to Mouth does find it by shooting out the kneecaps of Raphael, and man, that's a bit of a turner. It's 3-3 here with one down player, and we see the revive coming out from Swooty onto Zach Fontaine after he picks up Arsenic.
What a turn of events, and Brass to Mouth with some hero plays. No, and he gets taken out by 404. Pants. Swooty is refragging, and now it's all of a sudden into a 2 versus 2. How unfortunate for Brass to Mouth, but let's continue on to the round because we only have 1 minute left. Globochem, they're starting to kind of choke out G-Men. They're getting closer and closer to that uplink.
Yeah, you're right, and the defense has been forced right on top of the objective. Zach Fontaine finds Otto, and that's going to be a key swing here. I can't get it out. But it's a 1v2 here. It's all up to the last remaining member. He's got his LMG, so he's got plenty of rounds to fire, but he's got 2 members of G-Man he's going to have to deal with. If they decide to pressure him from 2 different sides, it's all over.
It really is, and Zach Fontaine is in such an
Here comes the
optimal
peak.
position.
There's Otto now, or Toast now, and Zach Fontaine finds him. G-Men take the second round, and we're tied back up.
Oh man, this round coming out from Brass to Mouth, he had such an amazing heroic play. He pushed through with that. The machine gun, killing out an enemy, picking up that enemy's shield, and then utilizing it, getting another frag, and really swinging the favors into his teams. But then 404 accidentally gets that TK onto him through the chaos. It's something that happens, and with that low time to kill, it's certainly stray bullets are flying everywhere.
No, absolutely, you are right. And I mean, it's tough like that when things start getting so chaotic. Like, you don't know who's dead, you don't know who's up yet because you haven't had a minute to collect your thoughts. But it is unfortunate. That's going to be G-Men's second team kill, or possibly even third team kill. I think they might have had one in cargo as well. And that's going to be hard. They need to stop that. They need to get that together and really check and know where each other are going forward, because if they manage to take this back, they'll be on the precipice of taking the series, which means that they have to really tighten their game up, because Globochem will do just that and come at them even harder than they have now.
Definitely so, and I mean, G-Men can still feel they can feel all right. You know, let's take away the hiccups of that round, and they can still feel pretty confident moving forward though, because that round, they did have the favor. They got the kills that they needed. They fulfilled their each player's responsibilities, and it almost painted the nice picture for them, almost. So they were right there.
Yeah, they really were. I mean, there's nothing taken away from that round. It was one silly mistake, and again, in all that chaos, I can't say that I wouldn't have done the same thing or it wouldn't have happened to me. So can't really be too hard on them for that. I mean, they came out on top, and things are tied up here in our third map. Now, this is G-Men's pick, but again, we said Globochem are no slouches here. And now we'll be back to Globochem defending G-Men. Right now, our uplink kings this weekend. They've gotten 2 so far between the semifinals, and now will they be able to do it again? Can they take map 3 here on this very third round? That could be a quick 3 up, 3 down.
You're absolutely right. We're going to keep our eye on Brass to Mouth, see if he starts practicing putting in the code in or anything like that. That'll definitely be a tell for us to see if that's part of their strategy going into this.
You're right.
But yeah, I mean, G-Men, you know, their attack on the first round, it was solid, and they had a solid idea and a plan. And I like the position that G-Men has put someone in that east corner. There's been a lot of contact, a lot of players really favoring this east side. So it's certainly a spot where he might find some success.
It sure is. And now the G-Men are going to take a moment to pressure the defense with a bit of blind lane 3 fire there. You'll see Swooty just hammering that building with some LMG fire. And that's a good way to hold those defenders back. However, it will key them in a little bit, at least to the position of 1. But you'll see Swooty has rotated there from lane 3 over to lane 2.
And we see here from the Globochem side of things, they're a little bit more spread out. I think this uplink position is allowing them to have these nice crossfires. If you see across the street from that center house, every single one of these players has an optimal crossfire set up for themselves.
Yeah, they really do. And this objective is one that in the league is pretty open to caps, and depending on the team that you're playing against, you could see a cap as fast as 15 seconds into a round, because some teams will just utilize immediate shock and awe, just tossing every smoke they have onto the objective, obscuring your vision, and going in with someone like Brass to Mouth who's able to cap in under 3 seconds. So the Globochem are playing it very safe. They're definitely not playing it for the rush offense, which is smart.
Will Swooty see this player? Oh,
he's not.
No. Yeah, Toast, that under the car spot, that's pretty sneaky.
It is, yeah. It's a tough spot to counter to as an attacker. One, you can never be sure someone's going to take that angle or one similar to it. So being down on the ground if it's somewhere else is tough. But yeah, Brass to Mouth did pick up a down onto Arsenic, but Otto able to slide in there and get the revive. So things are back up in Globochem's advantage here in a 5v3. Well, we'll call it 3.5 since one member is down. He's still able to give those callouts and be revived. We'll just have to see if the G-Men can execute and get that player up.
Yeah, hopefully, I think G-Men are in a position to be able to revive their member. It doesn't even look like Globochem quite realize, I don't think, that he's down. So I think they'll be able to get him up, kind of reset here. The timer is starting to tick away at G-Men, so it might come back to bite them. But as of right now, they can collect themselves and revive their member and reset and try to have a different approach.
Oh, that grenade landed right in front of 404's face. It came over the center house, bounced off the hedgerow, and landed right next to him. He had 0 time to react to that Potter. That was a Kobe if I've ever seen one.
That was certainly a Kobe, but unfortunately Globochem weren't in a position to capitalize off of those downs, so G-Men were able to revive them. However, that buys even more time for Globochem in their defense, so G-Men really have to scramble here. They only have 2 minutes left on the clock. They are a man down, and they still have to deal with that uplink.
You're right, but the redeeming quality of that is they're heavily centered now on the side of the map where the uplink is, so they're not too far away. They still have plenty of time to execute, but they need to get into position like yesterday. They need to be ready to spring this attack, because the way the defense is set right here, right now, I'm thinking this is going to go to Globochem. You've got 3 men able to watch that position. If they don't get those smokes right on point, then things are over for them here.
Yeah, those smokes are going to play a key role in kind of just obstructing the vision of Globochem, but I don't think Globochem are gonna blink here. They're in a really nice spots. Like I said, these crossfires are really going to be tough for G-Men.
Yeah, Pants is watching that corner where the attackers are coming in from, but Brass to Mouth is coming on a direct approach. He's relocated the smoke. Oh my goodness, but Otto's able to stop it. Zach Fontaine stops Otto, and here comes the cap. The tablets are out. What's going on? Go over to the objective. And Globochem failed to defend the uplink, and G-Men take map number 3.
That.
The uplink goes in!
Wow, we spoke about the crossfires of Globochem, but one of the unfortunate things is they were so spread out. We had even one member at the far down south front house. They were a little bit too far away from that uplink, and they were never able to punish. I can't believe that in this one series, G-Men has stolen almost 2 maps with that uplink.
They are the cap masters this weekend.
Wow.
Oh my goodness, and look at the expressions on their faces. They seal it. They're up 2-1. Potter, if they take this next map from Globochem, it's all said and done.
It certainly is, and this would be oh man, Globochem, this is going to be hard for them to mentally reset from, because they know that they had it in the bag. They were in optimal position to try to close this out, but they get capped on once again.
Yeah, that's twice they've been capped on, and that's something that not a lot of teams can even say they've ever done, period. Now they've done it twice in 2 different maps, and this one brings them the victory. I mean, they have got to be riding on cloud 9 right now. Globochem, on the other hand, what could possibly be going through their minds? Are they on tilt factor 9 now, or are they going to be able to pull things together here in their short little break as they kind of cool off between that round? So we're going to take a look at some of the replays. Of course, that great kill from Brass the Mouth with that knowledge to shoot out the knees of Raphael, that pesky shield that he wields. Zach Fontaine getting those kills onto Otto there to clutch that defensive round that they so desperately needed. But yeah, I mean, Potter.
Yeah, for sure. And here's another nade. We've seen a lot of nades coming out from these guys, but we'll be right back with some more action. Don't miss it.
Could you do that elsewhere? It's blocking my sun.
This is the one I've been searching for.
We almost made this place a paradise. We almost found the truth behind the Stormland. But the Tempest had other plans. Now our hopes come down to you. Will you transcend your programming and find the others? Are you willing to scavenge what you need and fight back? Dive deep into the slipstream. Channel the power of the Spire and reclaim your world.
For the most part, the update has been received very well by the community. There definitely are a few concerns with some lighting. You know, the game has a lot more realistic lighting now. Some areas are a bit darker than what they expected previously. So we're going to be tweaking some lighting in some areas, but for the most part, with real-time lighting and shadows and just updated textures and player models and you know, all kinds of things, the game looks a lot better. And people are loving it. We've got a good dynamic with our community, and there's open conversations happening, and you know, we'll continue to improve the update as it progresses. We've got a few more things that are coming into Onward before we're out of early access. One for sure is custom maps. We're going to be allowing players to build their own maps, any kind of maps that they've always wanted to play in Onward, and giving them the tools to build that in game. Number two, players will be able to rank up. We're going to be building in a ranking system for players, so they can, you know, grind, have something to aim for over time, and be able to show off in game, so people can know what ranks people are at in game. And then we're also working on a few ports. Onward will be coming to the Oculus Quest very soon. Definitely looking forward to the increase in the player base. We're looking to do cross-platform play between PC and Quest. And you know, having all these players playing against each other will really help the player base out and grow VR as a whole. And even for the esports scene, having players from Quest come over and play here at these events would be awesome. So having a larger player base also allows for our company to grow even more and to make better content and future games. One thing the Quest does really well is, you know, it allows for a whole nother sector of people to get into VR that haven't been able to previously. A big barrier for entry has been price point, and knowing how to work with a PC and build it correctly, and just understanding the whole landscape. You know, a lot of people are console gamers. You know, even I was before I got into PC gaming and VR. And you know, having something that's just all in one and works great, and can play a game like Onward, you know, that's affordable. You know, I'd buy that.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here with you in Leicester, England, at the VR League World Finals for Season 3. We have Globochem, we have G-Men. G-Men currently leading our Best of 5 series 2-1, but Potter, you have something you might want to say about that?
I do indeed. I mean, I think Globochem, we're moving on to Quarantine, right? In this fourth map. And Quarantine, we saw yesterday, Globochem, we saw Arsenic pulling out that sniper rifle for the first time in this tournament. And he found a lot of success. And, you know, again, I got to say, I feel like Globochem's got to feel a little bit robbed at this point of their wins. And so hopefully that little short break that we have between these maps, it gave them some time to recollect themselves, and I think we're going to see just that.
Yeah, I think Globochem really need to do that. That's for sure. Because, I mean, to lose map 3 to a cap of all things is rough. So they better be on that front foot now. They need to get off their back foot now and really give G-Men that serious thought that they are deserving of here. They are coming in as the underdogs, according to everybody, but right now they are showing us that they're the top dogs, and maybe Globochem should be worried about that top tier NA title. Yeah.
Right, they really are, because, I mean, it's not so much that they're showing us that they're the dominant team by any means, but they're showing us that they're willing to do what it takes to get the points on the board, right? And that's sometimes all it takes at the end of the day. We saw Brass to Mouth just pre-running the code into his tablet. That's a predetermined, that's in their prep. I mean, these guys knew that this was the type of plays that they were willing to make in order to make sure that they win.
You're absolutely right. But, well, the players are ready, and so are we. I'm excited to see, will we end our series here, or will we continue on? It is map number 4. G-Men are going up against Globochem. Globochem on the attack. G-Men will start this map off on defense. Ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your seats. This could be it. Are you ready? It is Onward here at the VR League Season 3 Finals.
And Globochem are fighting for everything here. It bodes well for them that they're on the attack. I mean, their blood's got to be boiling here. They've got to be feeling like they've gotten robbed, so it's perfect for them that they get to start off on the attack and start to control the pace a little bit. And we see Pants here doing just that, getting into the action, trying to scope out where his enemies might be.
Yeah, you know, they say there's never a reward without a little risk, and I think that's the only thing that G-Men have had that Globochem have not necessarily. They're not willing to take that risk so far. Arsenic here, he's got the 12X out. We're going to be seeing some snipering from him. We'll be undoubtedly going to see some long-range headshots here as he tries to zero in on the defenders that he has now picked out from the center burning building, where our objective will be. 404 will find a nice down onto Pants. In his position in the north, he's right there at that rooftop. That roof control, very important for these central-based objectives. If you can get up there, you have elevation over the center portion of the map where you can more easily see any defenders who might be rooted into some dark holes like we see with Brass to Mouth on top of the objective.
Definitely, and 404 is not in any position where he was down that he can actually get revived here. Or, sorry, the member on Globochem that was downed, he can't get revived because 404 is watching that. He's got the high ground, as you mentioned. Oh, but actually, no, Toast does get that revive off onto Pants, so that definitely bodes well for Globochem, because coming into this attack being a man down already so early on into the round, that definitely would be so hard to recover from.
Yeah, it would be, and that would just be another nail into that coffin if I were Globochem to take that first round loss really right after a cap. I mean, that would just really demoralize me. So they've got it together. They did manage to get the revive, as you mentioned, and yeah, 404 did give up on that angle a little early, but that's fine. Rather stay alive than risk it here. They've got they've got the map lead. Now if they could take the round or the point lead here on this map, they'll be in a good position to finish off the rest of this series.
They definitely will. Look at Arsenic's positioning, crouched down with that 12X scope. And here we go. Otto already taking out 404, and that's an instant kill.
Yes.
That's an instant kill for Globochem. He's created this opening for his team to come into this attacking side and hopefully have all the advantages.
Yeah, but in the words of a famous co-caster, Caster Potter, the defense very turtled up on the objective right now. They are not giving an inch as far as it comes to caps. They do not want Globochem to decide to get risky and go for an uplink and get 2 points for themselves here today.
Absolutely, and it looks like Otto is starting to move forward a little bit. Let's see if Sudi is going to be able to stop him with an answer. He's just fidgeting around with the smoke right now. See where he wants to throw that smoke grenade. We're going to go back to Otto here. It seems like Otto has some sort of an inkling as to where Sudi was right then.
Yeah, he's checking some kind of common approach angles to anyone who might be surprising to him. No checks from the grenade. Swooty's still waiting in his position, waiting for that western cross to come through. He's going to pick him up as they cross the street, but the Globochem does have a guy moving up in the south now, and this pinch could be what ends up doing it for Globochem against G-Men here. Otto up in position in the north. He can help his teammate out who's pushing in from the south. We've got smokes in and grenades in on the objective. Now is going to be the time that Globochem start their push. We're at a minute 39, and Arsenic's going to use his height and the advantage of a little molehill there to get a sight line onto the objective using his 12X. We might be seeing some picks come in from long range for him. Here comes a grenade. No, it's just the smoke over the wall. They're trying to obscure, but the defender knows he's there now.
Yeah, it's really going to be up to Arsenic here. He's been patient with his scope. I mean, he's got to find some sort of an opening here for his team. Brass to Mouth starting things off right for the defense, taking down Raphael, but Toast answers and just takes out Brass to Mouth right away. And G-Men are still 3 men down.
Yeah, Pants and Zach Fontaine Pants will find Zach Fontaine. Swooty will pick up Pants, and there's a member of Globochem on the objective. Arsenic's going to kill off Swooty. This could be a cap for Globochem, but no! The kill comes in from Arsenic, and once again, the kill stops the cap, which keeps Globochem from getting that very, very much needed 2 points.
And we spoke about Arsenic needing to step up because he's got that big gun. He's controlling whoever crosses that street, and he ends up coming out huge towards the end of that round. I mean, he's the one that punishes G-Men when they come out to try to refrag and clean up the kills that they think they had. Arsenic is there waiting with that sniper rifle, and even though it's at a distance, he punishes the G-Men.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he is the team sniper. He has been a long-feared sniper in the Onward community, so there's no denying his skill. Anyone around the world can tell you just how deadly he is. But man, Globochem taking a commanding offensive there. That was well played by their part. They got that pickup early on, as we saw, and we didn't think it was going to be possible, right? We thought 404, as he had maintained control of that roof for so long, that he was actually going to be able to kind of set up an ambush for anybody who came for that revive. But no, unfortunately, he gives up the angle a little too soon, which to no fault of himself, he wants to stay alive. That's a very open area, but yeah, they were just able to pick up that, and then from that point on, I think that was really our round changer there in that map.
Absolutely was the round changer. I mean, and Globochem kind of turned the tides onto G-Men there into that round, but let's just hop right back into this. Globochem, again, winning that round dominantly last round, so they are up 1-0. We're heading into this with G-Men on the attack. Let's see how well Globochem are able to defend, because G-Men's got some tricky uplinks up their sleeve.
Yes, they sure do, and I bet you they're going to be looking for that to try and take advantage back on the map, because now what they've lost is the quote-unquote defensive advantage, right? Typically, the defensive round should be the safer round. You don't have to overexpose yourself to your enemy if you don't want to. However, a lot of teams will choose to in order to try and slow the push earlier on. But yes, they might be going for that uplink again here. It's a very doable objective. They got a very doable spawn, and right now it doesn't appear that the defenders know exactly where the offense is coming from just yet.
Not just yet, and Globochem's taking a little bit of that turtling, my favorite word, a strategy, because none of them have spread out. They're all very gathered around that objective, that uplink, and G-Men, they still got to take time. They still got to be thorough. They have no idea, so they're still going to have to check every corner.
Yes, corners are dangerous everywhere. You never would have thought that a corner could make you so paranoid. Now I walk around corners in my real life and I'm like, oh, who's there? Oh no, Pants isn't here, thank goodness. Otto's not here. But man, this has just been a heck of a series, Potter. I don't think we could have asked for a better one here in our finals. We're here in map 3. Potter thinks we're going to the decider, thinks that Globochem are going to come back here on the front foot and really just put G-Men, put a stop to that momentum that they've had since that cap, and they've done as good so far. They've taken that defensive advantage away from them, and now it's their turn to see if they can defend and take that second point, which should put G-Men in a do or die.
It certainly should. And G-Men, I mean, they control the cards at this moment. They almost control their destiny, right? So it's up to them to execute perfectly from here on out. And we've got the man looking to be the man to lead his men up front, because he's in that forward position.
He is, and the man's name really does make it complicated to talk about moving his men up to different positions. There's just too much man in that word there. But yes, the G-Men are doing a good job at still keeping themselves hidden on the north. They're being very cautious, and unfortunately it's costing them a lot of time right now, Potter, and that's what I'm concerned with this G-Men push. They've been very secretive, very stealthy. They've not been discovered yet. I think the defense has just figured it out now, as all of the defenders now look towards the north and they know it's coming. But G-Men are ready to go. It looks like they're setting up their attack. Their western guys are still a little out of pace, but the guys in the center, they're ready to go. Smokes have come out. Things are going on, but frags coming out from the defense towards Swooty's position, and that one is going to find 404.
I got one down burning.
Swooty is going to pick up Toast, and then the revive immediately after on Zach Fontaine.
That's a revive for both sides around, but then Pants comes around and punishes Swooty right off the bat. This is starting to get really tricky for G-Men. I mean, it's coming down to 2 minutes already, and Globochem seem to be really controlling everything.
They really are, and I mean, taking down Swooty as well. He's been a prime player for G-Men in this series, so taking him out at this point is not going to be good. But I'm not going to give up on Globochem or G-Men just yet. G-Men, they're very, very close. These smokes could be the death of everything. I mean, all they have to do is obscure the sight lines. If they don't know where to shoot, they can't kill you.
Absolutely. Toast in such an optimal position here, but 404 punishes Arsenic for running out into the open, and Pants, nice answered by taking out 404 and punishing him for taking out his captain.
A lot of taking out there, but 404 got a little aggressive, got pushed right off the kill, which is fine in most cases, but you also have to be ready for that refrag, and I think 404 thought the smoke was helping him better than it was, and Otto will find a pick onto Brastamouth in the west. That's not going to help G-Man. It's a 1v4 now. Things do not look good, but you know, things have not looked good before, and they get sneaky, but Globochem going to find the kill, secure the second point on the map, and now it's on to do or die again for G-Man.
This is a do or die for G-Man, and it's not looking good for G-Man thus far. The last 2 rounds, I mean, Globochem have had convincing victories, convincing rounds in these 2, and it seems like, yeah, maybe G-Man aren't quite as prepared on quarantine as they had hoped, but you know what? I'm sure they've got an ace up their sleeve. Hopefully we see something spicy coming out of them and turn things around with potentially another uplink.
Yeah, well, the next thing they're going to have to do is defend, which is going to mean, depending on where the objective's located, either tucking in very tight or trying to take advantage of certain key areas on the map. If it goes to one of the eastern objectives, like the Marsak 1 that happened last night during some of our semis, or if it's the Tank Courtyard objective, which we had as well last night, a very open objective susceptible to caps, they're going to have to be very different in how they play it. But either way, they cannot lose this round, or they give the map to Globochem, and we go to our decider, and that is going to put a lot of pressure on G-Men, which I don't think they're quite ready to handle just yet. I think they need to close it out here. I think if it goes to the decider, it's going to Globochem.
I've got to agree with you. I mean, all the pressure is now kind of shifting gears. I mean, G-Men certainly came into this series as somewhat of the underdogs, you know? I mean, although they beat out beginners yesterday, and we've been talking about their rise, their trajectory going up towards success so quickly, but they were the underdogs, and so they didn't have as much pressure as Globochem coming into this, and now that pressure's kind of shifted. G-Men are in the lead, and they might lose it right here, that lead. So yeah, pressure's definitely on G-Men.
Oh, there's no one in the world that could argue with us. There's no point to be made where that is not correct. But now it's up to Globochem. Will they get their point on the round? Will they go for an uplink and really rub the salt in on this map? Or will G-Men be able to hang on by the thread they've been given and stay alive here in map number 4? Who knows? Tune in to find out. We got 5 minutes to determine what happens next.
And G-Men they have to start creating some openings for themselves on this defense, because we've seen Globochem's attack before, and Arsenic Sniper has been so deadly. Yeah. So really, G-Men can't get baited into that safe feeling where they can come out and finish off their kills. Maybe they do have to remain in those buildings, because Arsenic is so fast with that sniper. He's going to punish these guys if they leave their cover.
Yeah, a little communication there out from Pants, as usual. Very vocal player for them. Arsenic still doing his due diligence as the team sniper, and he does actually have a drone on his tablet. I don't know if you noticed those propellers on the back of his tablet. That's actually a drone camera that the attackers can use to fly around the map and pick out enemy positions. Now, we don't see it very much in this level of play, but occasionally you will, and it is a great tool because it's very small and hard to find on the map when it's flying around in the air. You can only rely on the sound to kind of locate it, and it only takes a few shots, but it can give away a lot of info on the defensive positions if used correctly by the offense.
And you know, we talk about clutch players and big moments often. I think we're going to have to go to the member on the G-Men, the lone wolf that's up there by the ditch building alone. He's about to run into 4 members of the Globochem, and if he doesn't get some quick shots off right here and create an opening, he might be punished severely.
Yeah, I think he knows he's been made. He's taken a few shots already, but he's still sticking with it. He's staying brave. He's not giving up on the angle yet. He's going to try and get any kills that he can for his team, but no, it looks like we might be seeing a retreat here from him. He's going to save himself for another day. Live to die another day, right?
Yeah, and that's certainly the better play to make here. I like the idea. I like that he went out and tried to look for an opening for himself, but this is calculated, you know. 4 members is a little too many for one to handle. Oh, and he's wrapping back around. Maybe. Oh, man, I think he's definitely going to run into some contact here of some sort.
Yeah, well, he's lucky he made it across that alley that he was peeking just a moment ago, because those 2 members of Globochem on the roof have an easy sight line down that, and he could have been putting himself in a world of hurt by waiting out there. And good thing he's now pulled back even further. Now all the members of G-Men are very close, turtled up around the objective now. They really do not want to give this to Globochem. It's 2 minutes 30 left, and Pants finds a kill from the rooftop, taking down Zach Fontaine. He's down, but there's so many people nearby. We should be seeing that revive come out any second, and we do. Brastamouth picking up his teammate.
Definitely quick reactions from Brass to Mouth, thankfully, because, I mean, Toasty had that high ground, and in case he might have seen a toe or something or another, I mean, that could have gotten really dangerous really fast. But that player was the man himself on G-Man that was pushed out, and he's itching for some clutch plays. I can see that he wants this win for his team.
He wants to clutch it.
Yeah.
He just wants nothing more in this world right now than to clutch this match for G-Man, and as he should. This could be key, because if they swing in here and bring an uplink, it's over, right? So everyone wants to clutch this one for the G-Men, I think.
Definitely so, and as you mentioned earlier, G-Men are just still turtled up, and this is perfectly fine. I mean, there's still 2 minutes left on the clock, but Globochem, they have to be the ones to make the move. They have to be the ones that are having to go for that uplink. If so, G-Men are fine waiting this out.
What they don't know is that Globochem do have a member coming up in the south of the map. He's possibly going to be able to get some fairly easy picks on the defenders here, as some of them are sitting quite open to the south approach, and none of them are even aware he's there. He could completely go in undetected at this point.
Again, G-Men have to be really disciplined here and not come out into the open and give Arsenic free kills, but it looks like Arsenic is doing just that, getting the man and Sudi a double kill from him, and Raphael taking out 404, but he gets punished by Brass to Mouth, and just like that, Globochem clean out the round with only 1 man down. That was a dominant 3-0 coming out of Globochem, and I really wasn't expecting that.
Now, I wasn't expecting it to be so dominant, Potter,
Right.
but what I was expecting was for Globochem to take it. They are super strong on this map, and it was their map pick, so they picked into it with confidence, and they played it with confidence, and well, the results show for themselves. A 3-0 walkout from Globochem on this map. Our series is tied up. We're going to the decider, and I think, as we talked about, it's going to be a bit of a toss-up here, though I think the pressure is going to get to them. So congratulations to Globochem on that round. They take the map. It's a tied-up series, and, I mean, what else can we say? Look at the players. Very happy with taking that map. And here we go to some replays. We're going to get a nice shot of this. There's the first Globochem win there with a nice double from Swooty. A nice grenade comes over the top. We see a lot of great plays, a lot of close quarters action and jumping around. Go ahead, Potter, please.
Yeah, and Globochem, they've got to be feeling really good about this so far. I mean, we've seen some really clutch plays from them, but we will be right back for the last map of this grand finals. Please don't go anywhere.
We almost made this place a paradise. We almost found the truth behind the Stormland. But the Tempest had other plans. Now our hopes come down to you. Will you transcend your programming and find the others? Are you willing to scavenge what you need and fight back? Dive deep into the slipstream. Channel the power of the Spire and reclaim your world.
Jack, can you hear me? How did we end up here?
You are the only person who calls me Jack.
Is that your way of saying you're going to miss me?
Anomaly detected. I'm gonna get you patched up. I promise. Not to jinx it, but I think we're actually making progress here. Oh, damn it! I don't know if I can do this, Jack. Your systems are failing. I barely managed to keep your core memory alive.
Are you injured?
What the hell is this? Jack, please.
Morning, sunshine.
Jack! Oh, thank God.
Captain Rhodes, report to observation.
Don't say a word. They can't know you're online. I promise I'll explain everything when I get back. I'm going to need your help.
And welcome back, everybody. We're here in Leicester, England at the VR League World Finals for Season 3, brought to you by Oculus and ESL, of course. We are here with Onward, a military tactical shooter, a 5v5 military tactical shooter. And our teams here today battling it out have been Globochem and G-Men. We're in a tied series, Potter. It's 2-2. We're going to Subway, a map that not a whole lot of people tend to like, right? So who is your pick here? Do you think Globochem takes it, or will G-Men crack under pressure?
I mean, I've got to be rooting for Globochem. Like I said earlier today, I think that they've got a really polished game plan coming in, and again, they've been on the rise actually in this 5 series. I mean, they've fumbled a little bit, but it's been looking really good for Globochem.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. I mean, goodness gracious, this is what it all comes down to. We are on our final map, and we are getting ready to get started. Ladies and gentlemen, here it is. The final map is starting. Globochem on the attack once again. G-Men will be defending. It's only 3 points needed to take home that title, take home 30 grand, and of course, swing that lovely championship banner.
Absolutely, and man, this map Subway, it's going to be a lot of action, a lot of trading happening, and this chaos, we've seen generally actually G-Men coming out on top a lot of these close engagement battles.
Yes.
And whenever that chaos happens, it's been Globochem actually that's been stumbling. We saw in that cargo map that's also close quarters, a lot of sort of TKing abilities and things like that. So hopefully both these teams have polished up that aspect.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. G-Men cannot afford any TKs from here on out. That is absolutely unquestionable at this point. But right now, what they also need to do is make sure that anytime they are on defense, that they are not giving those rounds away to Globochem, because Globochem will take the first point that they can get and not leave it up to a cap and leave it all to risk.
Definitely, and this map on Subway being a lot darker, we see so many players pulling out that night vision, and Raphael taking some fire from the enemy, but he's got that shield to back him up.
Yeah, and Otto, his player down below him, right behind him actually, does find the Oppressor who pokes that corner after throwing the flash, and now Raphael will finish off Swooty, and that'll be the North defense halfway broken. We'll see an attempted flash or frag try and come over the wall towards Raphael, but it's just not going to connect. And if he gets cheeky and tries to peek that corner, there's Otto again with his LMG ready to just take the head off of the first person to round.
Yeah, and Swooty taking a little bit too much more than he can chew, because he's alone all the way up on this north stairs, and he was completely alone, so really he went a little too deep there and got punished, and Globochem and Otto definitely capitalizing on that.
Yeah, those are the mistakes that G-Men cannot afford here. We were just talking about that. They cannot afford to do this kind of thing in this situation. They really need to play it safe on defense at this point. I mean, this is it. Do or die, go home, right? There is no more chances. You have nothing you can give. You have to take everything here.
Absolutely. This is definitely everything these teams have been fighting for, have been practicing for. Let's see what Otto can do with his tablet. I mean, he's using his teammate. His teammate's got that shield, so these two are the players that are going to be looking for most of the action.
Yeah, that shield going to come into quite favorable aspects here as they close in, especially when they push that northern alley that we'll see once they finally round that corner. But Globochem doing Globochem things, which is to be meticulous and know that wherever they're moving is a good pick. Raphael with a little bit of a shield drop. Pants will find Zach Fontaine, but the man refrags Pants, and Toast finds the man. It's refrag central as Raphael now grenades onto 404 towards the objective. And Globochem win. The G-Men are all taken out, and just like that, round one's already done. And there we go. G-Men have already given away that first defensive round. It's looking slim. I feel like they're cracking under the pressure here, Potter.
They very well might be. I mean, so much action has happened so quickly, and we just spoke about the fact that G-Men generally come out on top of those chaotic scenarios, but this time around Globochem, they really choked them out.
They did, and I mean, I don't think they really did anything too impressive, really, movement-wise, right? They just approached the objective. The defenders just kind of threw themselves at them, from what I saw anyways. And I mean, if you just look at the players on stage right now, Globochem, it looks like this is map 1. They don't look phased. They don't look worried. You can see them drawing on their little in-game overhead map that they're allowed to make strategies on in the tent. And, you know, they don't appear phased from any of what's happened earlier. And I think that's what's going to be the key to their victory. Right now, I'm really leaning towards Globochem.
It definitely is. And I mean, speaking more about that map 1, both these teams definitely should be approaching this just like that, right? When you get down to the last map scenario in a best of 5, you just got to take that map for what it is. Erase the 2 maps from each side, those 2 victories or losses, just erase those out of your memory and just approach this like it's the best of 1. This one map is all that's in the way from you and lifting that trophy.
Yeah, you got that right. Just one map indeed. Globochem already setting us up here for a bit of a preview, but we have seen quite the G-Men swingbacks. I mean, they were down 2-0 on the first map on death's bed in map 1 and brought back 3 unanswered points in a reverse sweep, which we hadn't seen all weekend, as Potter so thoughtfully mentioned out early today. And yeah, Globochem looking strong here. Haven't seen too much from the G-Men side. I'm not seeing a lot of stressful looks on their faces, but that doesn't mean that inside they aren't freaking out right now.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we're gonna hop right back into this matchup, and I hope that G-Men approach this round a little more cleverly. I mean, they have been coming out on top of a lot of these duels and engagements, and they have that uplink in their back pocket. The fact that they can utilize it, and they've shown that they're able to do it. So hopefully they pull out some interesting strategies here.
You got that right, and it looks like Brass the Mouth's trying to get a good gauge on what the code is. You could see him there having his tablet out, and so that is, he's prepping for the cap. He wants to go for it. I think G-Men are going to try and take another risk here for a massive reward. And of course, that tablet, again, is basically a player's only HUD, right? I mean, Potter, you can tell the folks a little bit more. I mean, basically, these players are working with nothing here.
They certainly are. I mean, it's very different from traditional FPS games that we're used to, especially as PC gamers. Generally, you have a lot of information on the screen, specifically some sort of a radar even, or the player names. But this game, being a military-style game, you have to refer to your tablet, and that makes you drop your weapon, so you're defenseless in those scenarios, so you have to be very calculated in that approach.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you don't necessarily have to drop your weapon per se, but you might have to go off-handed with it, or even one-handed, which of course when you're holding an assault rifle or an LMG, your recoil is going to go insane, right? You need that front hand to steady your recoil. Arsenic, of course, clowning around. Globochem obviously not feeling too down at all. I mean, he's communicating silently with his team. He's giving hand signals and like head signals. He's using his head to direct his teammate to where the approach is coming from. He's already heard them coming. Now he's keying in his teammates nearby without vocally giving out any information.
Yeah, and G-Men have actually pushed forward into a really interesting position here, because a lot of them are kind of huddled together, especially 3 of these members on that near the spawn almost towards. And I don't think that Globochem are going to expect so many members of G-Men together.
No, these two guys, I'm pretty sure, are going to die. There's Arsenic's head. He peeks up and he finds Brass the Mouth. The man has to have seen that some frag come out from the defense. Here comes a frag from Arsenic again, and that should be good. No, must be. Oh, it's the shield player. No wonder. A frag comes out from him as well. The man's going to down Pants, but somehow Swooty stays alive. Zach Fontaine will come in and get the confirm on that. Or down to 4v4. We tried to see an attempted revive there from Otto, I believe, but no good. 404 finds Raphael. Arsenic finds the man. Now Toast is on 404, and things are really heating up in this alley.
It's really heating up indeed, and I can't believe Arsenic is still alive in this round for Globochem. It's all the way down to a 2 versus 2 scenario. G-Men are fine. They can take a breather, slow it down. But it looks like Swooty just spotted out Otto, and yes, he punishes Otto. He has no idea that the last member of Globochem is right here on the left. I think Swooty has to slow it down here. Wait for your teammate. He's drawing out, baiting out some fire here, waiting for Zach Fontaine.
Oh, but it's going to be too little too late. Arsenic will find Swooty when he stops with his distractory fire. Now it's going to be a 1v1. It is Arsenic versus Zach Fontaine. Honestly, I'm going to give the advantage to Zach here, because Arsenic is going to have to run around checking so many various angles that he's going to probably be out in the open and more susceptible to damage than I think Zach will be.
Yeah, absolutely. And Arsenic has already used up so many of his lives. I don't know how many lives he's had within this round, but he was a player to get that first initial contact right off the bat. He opened up the round for Globochem, and now he's the last member alive. Yeah, this is going to be tricky for Arsenic for sure.
Arsenic doing well overall on the map. He's 4-1. Zach only 1-1 right now. However, that surprise element that Zach will have, since Arsenic doesn't know where he's going to be coming from, even though he seems keyed in on it right now. Things are looking good for Zach Fontaine as long as he maintains his focus. Arsenic looking away.
Open.
Oh, he's in the open, and he's also just not looking away. I think he's determined that it's this way that Zach is coming from, and Zach is going to be a little bit slow if he stays prone, but no, he's going to go crouch. Arsenic will see the head, though, and Globochem will find their second round. We go 2 up here, and again, here we are, G-Men in a do or die. They have defensive round, thankfully for them, but it could be over here in the next 5 to 6 minutes.
Wow, and Arsenic, his spidey senses really tingling there, allowing him to just stay maintained and focused exactly where he thought the G-Men would be coming from, and it really pays off for him. That patience, because he was not in the best position. He was kind of exposed. He was kind of in the open. So kudos to him to keeping his focus and finishing off that kill, and what a clutch round from him.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, he took out so many of the attackers in that round. as you said, his spidey sense tingled, and he was focused, laser focused on the right corner, when just previously we had seen him breaking his focus away and checking other approaches. But finally, something in his head said, you need to focus here. Focus in here. He did. He found that headshot, and that was it. Zach Fontaine was toast, and Globochem secure the next round, and it looks like, yeah, it looks like that pressure is really mounting. Brass to Mouth not looking in best spirits there as we head into what could possibly be our final round.
Yeah, G-Men really kind of have to wake up here. They have to reset themselves. As we mentioned earlier, this is the last map. This one map is all that's in the way for themselves. So really all the emotions that they're feeling, they've got to kind of push it down, refocus up, and focus on this last round.
Yep, G-Men have had to work for it all weekend. Globochem also having to do a lot of work just to stay out of the crosshairs of boss fight. But here it is, ladies and gentlemen. This could be it, our final possible round here if G-Men can't hold on. It's Globochem versus G-Men. It's Onward. The VR League Season 3 Grand Finals could be coming to a close in less than 5 minutes. Let's see if G-Men can hold on for one more round.
You're absolutely right here, and Globochem will be starting off on the attack. We see a shield already, and we see them beelining it towards the G-Men's defenses. And that shield, it's going to come in handy once again. Hopefully G-Men, they don't get baited out into it again, and they don't go too aggressive, because that's exactly what happened to them last round.
Yeah, now this objective used to be very, very much imbalanced. It used to go very heavily towards the attacking team, as the defense could not rotate out of the spawn fast enough a lot of times to get to the uplink instead of defense. But we will be seeing a lot more defensive positions from them, and actually G-Men pushing out quite hard on the north side, waiting for the north stair approach. He's now going to fall back. He's gotten the info he needs. He knows there's a couple there in that north alley, and now he's going to fall back and wait for them to come to him. This is a very tough objective because they can just absolutely lock it down from all sides. It's in a very narrow corridor as well, so grenades will probably be coming out in full effect.
They definitely can, and once again, we see a member of G-Men that's very separated from his team. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the man again. He seems to be the kind of lone wolf, the kind of player that wants to make some things happen, and he certainly has it in him. I mean, yesterday we saw his clutch plays coming through, and this is exactly the time that those kind of plays need to come out for him.
Yeah, it looks like one of those, that G-Men member that's in the south, maybe trying to go through one of those underground tunnels for a flank, but it doesn't matter. Otto will catch him out, and now it'll be just the 4 right on top of the objective, all turtled up, as Potter would say, as the shield combo pushes in. And I'm going to be thinking lots of flashes and lots of frags here are going to come down those stairs to help them clear out the doorway and get in.
Yeah, and 404 getting caught out there. As soon as he gets contact, he gets punished for being so far away from that objective. And that's one of those risks that you have to take, right? And he definitely gets punished for it. We see Raphael and his teammate exchanging grenades. And we see Raphael leading the charge down this narrow corridor with that shield. It's going to be up to Globochem's teammates of Raphael to punish anyone that tries to challenge Raphael here.
Here we go, and the man laying back in that hallway have already seen Raphael. Brass to Mouth will get a C4 kill onto Otto. That'll be an insta-kill and even things back out, so that'll be good for G-Men here. Raphael's in a great position, though, using his shield to unleash that grenade on a defender at will.
And it looks like Raphael has an inkling that Sudi might be hiding behind this Coke can machine, and it's probably a very common angle, and so they definitely have an inkling. But if Sudi times this right, if he plays off of his teammates' contact well, he's going to be able to punish the Globochem coming into this very narrow corridor. So it's going to be up to him to really make the timing count, because the man is here to create that diversion for him.
Yeah. Oh, and there's the grenade from Raph. I said his shield will lend him an advantage in throwing that, and it does. Swooty is not out yet, though. He can still give the call-outs, but it looks like Globochem's going to retreat up the stairs instead of continuing with that push, which kind of surprises me. I mean, it doesn't surprise me in a sense, but no, they just pull back to the top of the stairs. I think they're just waiting for a bit of response from the defender, maybe a rush or maybe someone going in for the res, but it's not going to happen. They're playing it smart. I think Swooty's told his teammate, like, no. Oh, but this is interesting. We've got one of the players laying down now. It's going to make him much harder to see with Raphael's shield.
You can hear Arsenic kind of leading Raphael, telling him forward, telling him back. They're really focusing on the man, and he's creating really good distractions here for G-Men. I mean, they're holding down this narrow choke point.
Yeah, and Raphael communicating where the man is, and the man's grenade's probably going to actually kill his teammate. Yeah, there it does. But it's no fault of his own. Arsenic will find the man on the objective, and now it's his cap. Oh, man, the defender's right there. He sees the shield, but if Raph keeps him distracted, the shield is going to get taken down. No, here comes a grenade. That's going to find at least one of the Globochem members.
The knife.
The knife out from Brass to Mouth does get Raphael, and that's a benefit, but Swooty or Arsenic's still alive right behind him. Arsenic finds Brass them out. There's one member of G-Men left. This is it. This could be the end of it. We're a minute left. Will Zach Fontaine's grenade be enough? And no, Globochem will get the kill. Toast will secure it, and they will be your VR League Season 3 Onward Grand Finals. Potter, I couldn't have asked for a better game than this one. This series absolutely